Hello everyone. Today has been a chaotic day. I'm sure everyone is wondering what the hell is happening, and we are right there with you. Before we get into that, though, thank you, Amish, for the 10 gifted subs during the warm up. So, today has been an eventful day. We had. Well, actually, last night is when it all started.
Everywhere.
We had every account on Siege got banned simultaneously for cheating, and then for harassment, and then they all got unbanned, and then this morning we wake up and every single account gets gifted 2 billion credits and every skin in the game and stuff like that. So yeah, a lot has happened. In case you missed it, Ubisoft has officially shut down the servers while we wait to see if they're going to fix, or if they can fix it. I am on, but I have 0 credits, 0 level, I am offline, I can't do anything. And then you can't even access your operators or your skins or anything like that. Also, it's important to know, I already said this in today's video, I said it on the TikTok and short and reel and everything I uploaded. For the people who spent a lot of the credits, you might get banned. This has happened before where there have been, issues or exploits that have given people unlimited credits, and when they spend all their credits, they usually get banned for it, or they get a temp ban, and then everything gets reverted. So that's probably going to happen if you abused it while it was available. Using the skins probably is not going to result in anything since they already shut down the server. But yeah, it has been quite the day. I even called it. I said last week, I bet Siege is going to be filled with cheaters when the Christmas break starts. I was close. This is about as close as we can get. Also, by the way, thank you for another 10 gifted subs from Amish. Thank you. What happens if I had credits before? They're very likely just going to reset the server to what it was before. So when the first attack happened and everyone started getting credits, they'll probably just like timestamp that and they'll revert the entire everything back to that point. That means anything you bought is probably going to be lost. All the credits you earned is probably going to be lost. Any credits you spent will be refunded, and all skins you bought and got will probably be returned as well. And then that way, if you have credits and you do want to buy stuff, you probably still will be able to after. But anything you bought now, going to be refunded. Thanks for sub. Pixico? Apparently some ads just ran. Or chat. Someone in chat said, why are they not doing anything, though? What makes you think they're not doing anything? The servers have been taken down. They already know about the problem, and they're working to fix it. People seem to forget that this goes for any company. If you have a breach of this level, you can't just, snap your fingers and fix it. It doesn't work like that. And I understand that a lot of you guys in chat who are probably really pissed off about this and fix it now. You guys are probably children, and you don't know any better. But, yeah, you can't just snap your fingers and fix it. It doesn't work like that. Here's what is likely going to happen. They're probably, right now, servers are shut down. They're probably investigating how the people were able to do this. They're probably going to shut down any of those accesses for now, and then they're going to roll back the server to where it was before, and then they're going to fix the exploit later. Or as time goes on. I'm sure their number one priority is getting the game back online in a stable state. So that's probably going to happen, I would guess, today. I don't even know if we're going to be able to play Siege today. I launched because I was like, you know what? Maybe the servers will be back online soon. Who knows? But yeah, this is not an easy fix. This is a massive security breach. like unprecedented level of security breach that they're not going to be able to just fix. Okay. Jeez, a lot of subs and stuff. Thanks for 1,000 bits from Amish. Clips went hard last night. I did see a lot of those, yeah. Thanks for the sub from X Chance, gifted sub from Jerry Cloud, Ida Loden with the 21 months, Jiggly Mutts with the tier 1. Thank you all.
This clips went hard last night.
Surprised you're even streaming today. I came upstairs. I saw that Siege was offline. I went back downstairs and I told Annie, I was like, yeah, Siege is down, so I shouldn't even bother streaming. And she said, what if you just play chess on stream while you wait for the Siege servers to come back up? I'm like, genius. So that's the backup plan if Siege doesn't come back online. Thanks for some Lol the Champ, Jakey Boy, and Nex. So, to go back to the topic, it's no surprise that this happened now during Christmas break. Everyone knows that Ubisoft goes on Christmas break. This happens every single year that there's some issue that arises because the devs are gone and then the mice play. So normally all the cheats just come back online over Christmas break because they know that Ubisoft's not going to put out any anti-cheat updates. That's usually how it goes. But this time, they probably had this vulnerability. They probably knew about this vulnerability way in advance, and they're like, we're going to wait until Ubisoft's on Christmas break to do this so that they have less chance to react, and they'll be able to take more advantage of it. So, what does that mean? It means that, unfortunately, the people who did this have an unknown level of access to a lot of Siege. And a lot of people are like, I get this fear. I get the fear mongering to a degree. A lot of people are like, don't log into Siege. Uninstall Siege from your computer. They have full access to your computer. That's not true. So as far as we're aware, obviously I could be wrong. They could be wrong. We could all be wrong. As far as we're aware, the people who did this only have access to Siege's backend. So servers, or like Renown and credits, are all server hosted. You don't have it on your computer. So they were able to go to the server and say, give everyone all these credits and Renown. Give everyone all these levels. Ban people because they have access to the back end. They don't have access to everyone's personal computer and everyone's personal account. That is not how that works. That's not how cybersecurity works. That's not how any of it works. And for those of you who don't know, so there, remember the ban ticker in the top right? Yesterday, this is how the people were testing the waters of how much they were able to do. There were a lot of streamers and just generic people who were seeing in the top right, the ban ticker was going off and it was saying weird names. Like one of them said, Mary has been banned, Christmas has been banned, 2 has been banned, all has been banned. So they were saying Merry Christmas to all. So they were sending messages through the ban ticker. And then there were some other crazy ones that were like, the CEO of Ubisoft is in the Epstein list, has been banned from cheating. They were just sending messages through the back end. So they tested it with that. They did a bunch of bans, tested to see what they could do. Second, they banned everyone for cheating. And then I think they unbanned them. I'm a little blurry on this timeline because I wasn't online at the time. And then they banned everyone for harassment, unbanned them. And then that's when they were like, okay, we have full access. We can do whatever we want. And then this morning is when they did everything else. They did all the credits, the glaciers, the dev skins. They did all of that. So that's the timeline. Again, that means that the cheaters or the hackers have access to the back end. They have access to the server. They have access to sending stuff to people, but they, again, can't take stuff from you. So you're not super at risk of your security, your personal security being breached. It's just the server security. So don't worry. It is incredibly, incredibly unlikely that they have your password, your email, and stuff like that, because that's just not how it works. By the way, quickly, thank you for the sub from Vade X Eclipse with the 19 months. And then next, I don't know if I remember if I thanked you or not. Are the chances that every previously banned hacker is going to come back? No, because any big company and the people who are a lot more software and hardware knowledgeable than me and the industry knowledgeable than me can confirm this, but the way most companies work and games work is they have constant backups. So they'll usually do a backup, like, it depends on the game and it depends on the company. Some of them will do it like every few hours. Some of them will do it like once a week. So they have a backup, and it will usually consist of like everyone's level, credits, renown, if you're banned or not, like just a checklist basically of everyone's info. And then if they need to, they can roll back the server and just be like, load up this save point and then reset everyone to what they had at this given time. So if you were banned for cheating after everything happened, you could probably get unbanned, but it'd be very unlikely. And if you were banned before that, I don't think you're getting unbanned. Not to mention, this is where it gets a bit hairy, because obviously they had access to banning everyone and then unbanning everyone. Sometimes they will have different backups for different things. So they'll be like, bans are their own backup, levels are their own backup, credits are their own backup. So that way, if say like there's a credit bug, they can just roll back credits for everyone. Stuff like that. So that's usually how it works. And then if I'm not mistaken, it's usually like they'll have, like, let's say they do siege backups every day. They'll do one backup a day for like the last 2 weeks. And then like the most recent backup will override the oldest one. Some companies will do like, they'll just keep the backups forever in case they ever need it, stuff like that. But with modern gaming and everything being online, they usually tend to override because they're not going to save it forever. I sold Chroma for 50K before I knew this stuff was what was going on. I assume it'll be reverted. Yes. It's very likely that everything you bought or sold will be reverted. And when will it be over? We have zero idea. We have no timeline. We have no knowledge. Again, this is all Ubisoft has said about it. They tweeted out that the marketplace and Siege has been intentionally shut down. And before that, they said, we're aware of an incident. I don't know if I would call this an incident. This seems like the fucking apocalypse. But they said they're aware of the incident that is occurring. So they're working on it, but we have no idea when this is going to come back online. We have no idea what the state of the game will be like after it happens. There is the chance, because, like, again, at the end of the day, it is all up to however Ubisoft is planning on handling this. There is the chance that this game could be down for like a few days. We don't know the internals of Ubisoft. We don't know how they have stuff set up. There is a very real possibility that this specific issue that has been exploited could take days to figure out, and they won't be able to have the game online until then. But we don't know. This is all pure speculation. Man, I'm not used to having so many people in chat typing. I'm trying to keep up, but there's too many. Thank you for the 5 months from Blaze Star.
Estimate-based man, looking at the brighter side.
Do I have a rough estimate? I have zero idea. None of us know. Only Ubisoft knows.
Love Dex, bro.
Thanks for 6 months, Duck. They made amateur mistakes again. Why did they only shut down the servers hours after the hacker attack? All right. This may come as a surprise to you guys. Brace yourselves. I want you all to sit down for this. When stuff like this happens, no matter the situation, no matter the company, the people, they can't act within milliseconds. I know. It's kind of crazy. But no, they can't just act on a dime. It does not work like that. This has been the case for every company, for every game, for everything ever. This is also the same reason why, if you call the police for a crime being committed, the police aren't there in milliseconds. It usually takes 5 to 10 minutes for them to show up. Nothing is instantaneous in this world. Can't you use your connections to get some info on what the hell's happening? Any information that's usually relayed to us behind the scenes about stuff that's happening is not public knowledge. Sometimes they will tell us things and be like, hey, just so you know, this is happening. And we'll be like, cool. But they're like, you can't tell people. It's like, good. We just need to know. Like, we're more. Sometimes we're more in the know. We have zero knowledge of what's happening here, and I don't think they're gonna make it a priority to tell people. Because like, why waste time telling us, hey, just so you know, this is what happened, and we're looking into it when they can just fix it. We know the same thing you do. How did they even? Very broad question, but here's my theory. Again, this is pure speculation. We don't know for sure. My guess is Ubisoft probably has some open, like, I don't know, access for some information. Like every company has APIs. They have API for a lot of different stuff, for like player data, stuff like that. They probably found some access through that. Also coupled with the fact that a lot of these data breaches, a lot of these huge hacking things that go on, it's generally not good old-fashioned hacking. Like, a lot of you guys think that the hackers are sitting there like, I've accessed the mainframe, I've breached the security network, I'm shutting everything down. Like, it doesn't work like that. Like, 90% of these hacks nowadays are social engineering. So here's what happens. They'll usually... I bring out the whiteboard for this. I think I can explain this easily enough.
I just love dicks.
Usually what they'll do is do something like a simple email phish. They will send an email to a dev and just be like, hey, click this survey. And then as soon as they click the survey, they have a virus on the dev's account on the PC, and then they learn the dev's login, and then they log in through there. That happens so often. And honestly, nowadays, even more so, a lot of these security breaches are from within your house. GTA 6 got leaked 2 years ago because the kid of one of the developers, the dev worked from home, the kid wanted to be TikTok famous, so he recorded like 10 minutes of gameplay and then uploaded it to TikTok. Like, a lot of the times these things happen because it's just, you know, social engineering or just, you know, compromise from within. So in my theory, this whole thing that is happening today is because they probably compromised a dev's account or like his PC. They have access to the back end, and then they just... It's very likely that they would do something more like secret. They found the access. They figured out how to like reverse engineer one part of it so that they can access it easily. And then they just did little tests like they did last night. And then they just go, fuck it. Go, 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 go. It'd be like if you found out that, I don't know, the club you want to get into literally has a back door. And it's like, you can sneak in one at a time so that you don't get caught, because if 50 of you come in through the back door, then they're going to be like, whoa, whoa, what's going on here? But if like one of you go in at a time and you're like, okay, slowly trickle in, people probably won't notice. Could they ban people for using the credits even if they reverse everything? I'm just going to... I'll say this, because people always ask this every time. And like I made a TikTok and stuff about this, and people were going crazy about it, saying like, Ubisoft can't ban me, I'll sue them. Ubisoft can ban you whenever they want, for whatever reason they want, and they don't actually have to explain it to you. If Ubisoft says, you know what? Ice Cold, we hate that guy. Ban him. Gone. They don't need a reason. They can just do it. They can do whatever they want. It's their game. It's their private servers. You have no rights here. Ice Cold, out of here. Sorry, bud. What did I do? We don't have to tell you. You're done. All right? They can do that. It is their own private game. They don't have to give you a reason. So, when it comes to stuff like this with the credits, do you want to give them a reason? Probably not. Will they ban you for using the credits? They could if they want to. If you want to go on a fucking spending spree, or you did before and you bought everything and you bought the entire marketplace out, They might be like, hey, maybe this guy was one of the people who did it, and we're just going to ban him just to be safe. Even if they can revert it all, even if they can do it all, they could still do it. They did this 3 years ago. Remember when I found out about the Doctor's Curse pack glitch? Slightly by accident. I mean, it was by accident. I did figure it out by accident. But then I posted about it, and I said, if you guys do this, you'll probably get banned. A lot of people did it. They spammed credits, bought a shit ton of stuff. Those people got permabanned. Because Ubisoft can be like, hey, we're just going to permaban you because we don't like what you did, and we don't trust that you're not going to do it again. Everyone did it. They can't ban everyone. So then that goes into the next point, again, with the Doctor's Curse thing. With Doctor's Curse, a lot of accounts just got reset, and they lost the credits they got. If you were egregious and you went beyond what is normal, then they can be like, okay, well, fuck these guys. Like, if you bought hundreds of thousands of credits in skins, they'll probably be like, yeah, fuck you, man. Like, you clearly know this was a bug and you were abusing it.
I just love decks, bro.
You know? While we have the ad break, I guess. Thanks for the subs from Tempest. Kaz with the gifted sub. Hocus Tocus with the prime. Thank you, thank you. Did this affect console? Yes. It affected all platforms, PC and consoles. No one was exempt from this. My friend spent 180K. Everyone say goodbye to Shylax's friend because they're probably fucked. But again, we'll see. It's all up to Ubisoft. They can do whatever they want. We have no say. Do I think the hackers chose the 27th because of the promised repeated reward? No. I think the hackers chose today because it's Saturday and it's the beginning, or not the beginning, but most of the devs are on break. If they did it on the 23rd, 24th, leading up to Christmas, where the devs are technically on break, but they could still be called back easily, then like the breach wouldn't last that long. But since they did it today, where a lot of devs are probably on vacation, like they're probably in like fucking Barbados with their family trying to enjoy the holidays, or in like out of state with their other family trying to like, you know, spend time with their parents or whatever. A lot of devs just won't be able to come back and fix this. So now is the ideal time for them to do it because they know devs are on holiday. Also, something Ice Cold just said reminded me, which I'll add in as an extra layer. So going back to the whole, you might get banned for using the credits. And Ice Cold said, why are people mad for using money that isn't theirs? Fun fact, if you ever go to an ATM or if you ever check your bank account and suddenly your balance is like 2 million and you start spending that money, even though it's in your account, you can still go to jail because that is not your money. Even though it's in your account, even though the bank made a mistake, legally that money is not yours. And if you spend it and then the bank realizes what happened and asks for it back and you can't pay it back, they can send you to jail. That has happened before. That has happened a lot, actually. And you have zero ground to stand on. So you should not be surprised when getting credits in-game given to you by hackers is maybe a bannable offense if you start spending it all. Thanks for 200 bits from Matty. I had 450k in Renown. I was saving for buying a good season pack. Guess it's now another 2 years grinding. You're going to get it all back. They're not going to set you to 0. They're just going to set you to what it was before this all happened. Also, I did not think... I was actually not going to stream on YouTube because I thought people on YouTube weren't going to care about this. We're at 200 viewers on YouTube as well. God damn. Also, my video for YouTube today did really well. In the first hour and 20 minutes, it had 20,000 views compared to most other videos at this time have 4,000 views. It did 5 times better than normal. Kind of crazy. People love hearing about Siege getting hacked. I care. I'm avoiding even bothering to log in. Oh, wait. Again, logging in is not going to do anything. It's only if you take advantage of this and you start spamming buying stuff, which you can't even do right now because the servers are down. I'm kind of sad that the bans happened after I went offline yesterday because it would have been amazing to have a clip of me getting banned. Imagine me, of all people, getting banned for cheating. No one would believe it. Someone said, is Hacker Replay going to be about this? Honestly, I don't know. I'm recording all of this that we're talking about just in case. Is Royza my son? He is. Royza and Tom. And then also a Ubisoft employee, but you guys probably don't know them. Let me go grab an eraser. All right. Let me we have chat on the screen. We're going to talk through more of this, all right? Oh, one sec. My chat is, I thought it was delayed, but it's actually just only showing the top few messages. All right. Actually, might be able to just, maybe we'll have full. All right, I might actually have to take off my headset because it's a little short cable for this.
I just love decks. Bro.
Okay. Chat.
I'd give someone or
Let's
you
talk.
already mentioned this, but
We've already
last
kind of
night
explained
Mr.
everything, but
Hackerman did a
we'll
bandwave of names
we'll
that
go
sang
over
It
this
Wasn't Me
again.
by Shaggy and then
So
promoting
starting
Plain
from the
Milk.
beginning.
They told us to tell him that he was a chud pea.
Let's is that good? It looks good enough. Okay. So, Siege is, I don't know why I did capital S. Down. Okay. So we're all on the same page, right? Siege is down. This is intentional. Ubisoft has taken Siege down because of what happened. So, what happened? Let's why did I draw this in the middle? What the fuck am I doing? All right. Let's start from the beginning. So, at around, I think it was 7 or 8 p.m. last night, is when the first attack happened. So, if I'm not mistaken, what happened first was they
I
banned
just love Dex, bro.
everyone. I don't know if these were two separate offenses or if they were at the same time, or like mixed and match. I don't know. But they banned everyone for cheating. And then they banned everyone for harassment. So, this happened about, I think, 16 hours ago. Now, people might be wondering why Ubisoft did not act when this happened. Because only just this morning, about 14 hours after this happened, did they finally start addressing stuff. So there's two reasons. One, Christmas break. Ubisoft always goes on Christmas break from like the 23rd until New Year. Okay? So they're bare bones. This has always been a thing. I've always complained about it, and I told them, I'm like, I understand devs need time off, devs need holidays, but like you can't just have everyone go on Christmas break and leave not even a skeleton crew left to handle the whole situation. I'm like, you need more people on during Christmas break. Two, this happening, it wouldn't surprise me if some of the devs were like, oh, it was just a hiccup. I think that's probably the best way you can put it. Where, since everyone got banned and then immediately unbanned, they probably were like, you know, like, anti-cheat bugged out, but everyone's fine, so we're good. And then because no one reacted and Ubisoft didn't do anything about this, I think that's what gave the hackers motivation to be like, okay, we can do more. Like, Ubisoft didn't even care that we just did this or this. So, what did they do right after? They started sending stuff through the ban ticker. Also, I want it to be known that Annie said I would never use this whiteboard, and I think I've used it like 4 times this year. I'm getting my money's worth. So, after they banned everyone, they started sending messages through the ban ticker. You'll see a lot of photos of this on the subreddit and through like Twitter, stuff like that. They were just sending. Honestly, I was surprised. They were not sending that bad messages. Like, normally when this happens, if they compromise the ban ticker, first we got the chicken from the wildcard event. They were like, people, when first they figured out how to do the ban ticker stuff, they would send through a chicken. And then it only took like an hour before they started sending up just straight penises on your screen. So surprisingly, with the ban ticker, they were only sending in like messages. They said something like "Merry Christmas to all" and "To all a good night." They said, "What else are they hiding from us?" They said the CEO of Ubisoft was in the Epstein files. So like that one's pretty bad. But like normally when this type of stuff happens, they send through like images, racial slurs, stuff like that to try to fuck over as many streamers as possible. So I'm genuinely surprised they didn't do that much. But then this went through, and let me see. If I'm not mistaken, that happened last night as well. Actually, no. The banned messages, I'm looking on the subreddit now, were all posted about an hour or two ago. So this was... Actually, no. One of them was posted 8 hours ago. So I think the bans happened about 16 hours ago. The messages came through 8 hours ago, which would have been around 4 a.m. Okay? So with that all happening at around 4 a.m., obviously a lot of the devs are going to be asleep. I don't think we can really ban or like fault people for, you know, being asleep. Everyone needs to sleep. So majority of the devs asleep. And then it got posted everywhere this was happening in the morning. So first thing they do, they can finally react after they have woken up. Not to mention that most of these devs are probably on holiday, which means that Ubisoft now has to pay them all like overtime and emergency whatever to get them to come in and start fixing this. So, ban ticker happens about 8 hours ago, and then, ooh, the credits were the next part. We'll go over here. So after ban ticker, then they did credits.
I just love dicks.
Everyone, I think, got something different. So the base was everyone got 2 billion credits. And then everyone got put to like level 200k. And then this is where I think it got really different. Personally, I only got 3 glaciers, the dev skin, and the clover charm. Some people said they got every skin in the entire game. Some people said they got nothing. So. Also, no, that it says credits. I just put an extra line for some reason. The I is right here. Don't fucking make fun of me, Josh. I know how to spell. But I don't know about you guys. Some people in chat are saying they got nothing. Some people had everything. But yeah, all I had was the dev skin, 3 glaciers, and a charm worth like 100 or 1 million credits. So everyone got this. Now, I know everyone likes to shit talk UB, and understandably so. You know, they do a lot of stuff wrong. This is when they finally reacted, but it did coincide with everyone waking up. Because the credits and stuff happened at like 7 a.m. this morning, and then obviously devs are waking up, and Ubisoft's like, red alert, all hands on deck. So,
I just love dicks.
This is when Ubisoft finally reacted. It is crazy that this didn't raise some flags, but again, I can understand it. Like, imagine to make it easy for everyone. I'm sure everyone here at some point has worked retail at a store, whatever. Imagine if the alarm in the back room goes off and you go check it out and you're like, oh, there's nothing wrong. The alarm's like blaring, you put in your code to end the alarm, and then you just go back about your business because you're like, the alarm must have like went off by accident. So I think this would be almost equivalent to that. Because like that happened when I worked in a grocery store, that happened all the time. Alarms would go off for the emergency escape door. No one's even there, and it's like, well, whatever. So like that happens all the time. I can understand them being like, man, the anti-cheat must have just like hiccuped and then banned everyone and then unbanned everyone. And they're like, we're good. Or they banned everyone the devs saw and they're like, that's weird. That shouldn't be happening. So they just rolled back all the bans and they're like, we're good. Like maybe the anti-cheat again hiccuped, whatever. So they probably didn't think it was that severe. That's my guess. Also, apparently an ad is running now, so I will hold off from continuing for a little bit. I'm gonna be pissed if I don't get my rank and everything back. Again, it'll probably be reset to whatever it was before this all happened. Also, I did miss a few subs. Thanks for subs from Core McFlurry, Itram, Quagsy. Thank you all. Wouldn't be surprised if this attack was coordinated by people that were banned in the terms of service ban wave and they got butt hurt and decided to fuck the game up. Honestly,
I just love dicks, bro.
I'll talk about that in a second. I have some theories. Thanks for sub, Wako. Thoughts on people who use the credits on store and marketplace? Hey, you do what you want to do, but if you get banned, you can't complain. You knew that you were using credits that weren't yours. So. Alright, I assume the ads are over. Also, I know everyone hates when I say this, but I'm just letting you know, if you don't want ads, if you sub with Prime or whatever, you don't get any ads. So, I'm just throwing that out there. Because I'm not going to pause for every ad break. Okay. So, where was I? Oh yeah. So when everyone got banned and unbanned, that should have been the first red flag, but I can understand why they wouldn't follow through on that. Because obviously, if your alarm goes off in your store or anything, you don't just assume that the whole system has been compromised and you're going to all die. You're just like, it was a hiccup. Everyone just assumes the best. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs from Merit.
Everywhere.
So, Ubisoft finally reacted when it was this, because obviously this clearly means something is wrong. The ban ticker, they probably also didn't react to too fast because that has happened before. It's obviously a bad thing, the ban ticker being compromised, but it's not the end of the world, and they probably would just be like, just deactivate the ban ticker until we're ready to move forward. Okay? So then, now that everything has been shut down, Siege, so this all led into Siege is now down. They have shut down the servers, they have shut down the marketplace. Now, here's where we start looking into who would have done this, why have they done this, and is there anything else we can draw from that? A lot of known community people who constantly, you know, steal accounts, do whatever, leak information, all claim that they had nothing to do with this. Game Addict mentioned that what if it was the people who got banned for terms of service bans, and this is their way of reacting and being like, fuck you, Ubisoft, you want to ban my account? I'm going to take down everything. I think it's very unlikely. So, in my opinion, this was probably in the works for over 2 weeks. That would be my guess. Here's why. I think that it's very unlikely that they just figured this out Christmas Day. I think that they learned about this exploit, whatever they did, over 2 weeks ago, and then they were like, okay, let's see what the limits are. They probably did some type of limit testing. They maybe, I don't know this for sure. This is just speculation on my part. It wouldn't surprise me if they were like randomly banning 1 or 2 accounts to see if the system would notice. Like if the devs would be like, hey, why did this person just randomly get banned for no reason? So they probably did like small tests. And I know people in chat are going to be like, that's why I got banned, because of this fucking compromise. No, that's probably not why. It's very unlikely any of you would have gotten affected by this. But they probably did some type of limit testing. And then they thought, okay, if they figured this out like 2 weeks ago, they're going to think, do we do it now while all the devs are here, or do we wait until the devs leave? So then they probably waited 2 weeks until Christmas time to act. And obviously, I don't know any actual suspects, like names of people, but whoever did this is probably the same type of people who are just constantly trying to shut down Ubisoft or Siege however they can. And this is not unique to Siege. I honestly, for a while, I was like, man, like the community for Siege is just so toxic. Like so many people hate the devs, they hate the game, and they go out of their way to try to make it as miserable for everyone. This is not unique to Siege. This is literally every game ever. It's like anytime a company puts out like updates or anything, there's just vulnerabilities everywhere. These people try to do whatever they can to just harass the devs for whatever reason. I don't know. It's kind of stupid. It's kind of fucked up, but this is just what they do. Yep, Apex had it. Apex had a massive security breach where people were able to like hack into people's computers using it. But I don't think that's a concern for this. So we're going to go through a few things of what you guys need to know, because a lot of people have a lot of questions about that. All right, so first things first, what you need to know. Bans aren't permanent. if you got banned because of these like hackers, you will probably be unbanned. And the only reason I say probably is because unless you did something egregious that mainly got you banned, then you should be fine. If you were banned for no reason and you just didn't get unbanned, you will probably be unbanned once they figure this whole thing out. Second, piss off a lot of people. The credits aren't yours. I don't care if you got 2 billion credits. Chat, you guys are poor, okay? You can barely afford to sub to my channel. You don't own $12 million worth of credits, okay? It doesn't matter if the hackers gave it to you. It doesn't matter if you have them on your account. The credits aren't yours, okay? That means Ubisoft has every right to take them away. That means if you buy anything, if you use any of the credits, Ubisoft has within their authority to refund it and ban you if you were egregious, okay? Why are we catching strays? Because people think they're entitled to the credits. There are so many people who have been in chat today who are just like, Ubisoft shouldn't ban me. That's not my fault. Chat, if you go to the bank and your bank account says $10 million in it and you spend it all, that money is not yours, okay? It doesn't matter if it says it's in your account. That money is not yours. Again, you guys are poor. You can't afford that. It sucks when you see the possibilities and you can't use it, but it is not yours, okay? So you guys can't complain if you get banned for using credits. So that means goes into the next thing. Oh, I just came everywhere. So, while the bans from before aren't permanent, you might get banned if you use the credits. And you cannot complain about that. Okay? I understand that it's annoying when you're given 2 billion credits, you use them, and then they ban you. But, again, if you use something that's not yours, you cannot be surprised when they ban you. Now, we talked about this before, but I'll say it again. Ubisoft has complete and utter authority to ban you for any reason that they want. You literally could just be sitting there, just a chill guy, not doing anything, and they could ban you if they want, and you just can't do anything about it. Now, obviously, most companies don't do this because banning people for no fucking reason doesn't make sense. But if you use all the credits and buy a shit ton of stuff, they might say, this person might be involved with the people who gave them credits and are just using the credits to buy everything they can. So, if you abused the credits, you might get banned. This also has been slightly confirmed by maybe Ubisoft themselves. If you go to the R6 Discord, the official R6 Discord, where the mods have communications with the devs, one of the mods from the Discord posted saying, do not use the credits, you might get banned for using them. Okay? So this has been slightly confirmed by the devs that you might get banned if you abuse the credits. Okay? You can't be mad when that happens. I see people in YouTube chat who are pissed off at the fact that you might get banned. That's on you. If you get banned, you get banned. What about Renown? I doubt they'll care as much about Renown, but same. Just don't use it. Servers are down now anyways. If you already used it, that's on you. Again, to use a real-life example, if a bank accidentally puts $2 million into your bank account and you use the money, and then they ask for it back because they realize their mistake, you can get arrested for it. This is a real-life example. There was a case, and I think it was Australia, where someone went to their ATM, saw that they had $10 million, never told the bank, and just spent all the money. And then after, I think it was like 3 years, the bank figured out, they're like, we lost $10 million. Where did this go? They found out they gave it to that person by accident, and then the person was arrested because they were using money that wasn't theirs. Now, obviously, that's real life. You're not going to go to prison, but your account might get banned. Okay. So, what next? What else do you guys need to know? We have no timeline. We have absolutely zero clue when this is going to be fixed. As far as I can tell, let me click on the game again. It's still down. Ubisoft, again, has intentionally taken down the game to make sure that you guys aren't going to abuse the credits and that this isn't an issue, because obviously, if they have access to the entire backend, they could do even more. So they have completely shut down the game for the time being. We don't know when it'll be fixed. I seriously doubt it'll take more than 24 hours. I believe what they are more likely to do is to revert the whole server to before this happened and then just cut off any access for now until they are fully back in office.
I just love dicks, bro.
So, my theory is 24 hours until we can play again. Within 24 hours. I think for all of this to be resolved is going to be about 2 weeks. Fucking spell. So, what does that mean for 2 weeks for total resolution? What that means is that, let's just say, when all of this was happening, you bought an elite skin using your own credits, and then you relogged, and then you found out you had 2 billion credits, and then when Ubisoft sees this, they're going to be like, hey, he bought something with his credits, we're refunding that, but we're not giving you the credits yet. So it'll probably be like 2 weeks until you would get those credits back. Again, Ubisoft's not going to take stuff from you. They're not going to like scam you in this case. It's just going to take a while to go through everything. And this is where things get complicated. Ubisoft is not exactly known for very efficient fixings of things. I don't know how else to phrase that. So a lot of you guys know about the login rewards for, not the daily login rewards, but remember for your veteran stuff. So you get like a 2015 badge, and if you played in year 1, you get like the glacier or the like fake black ice, whatever, right? So I still don't have any of that. Ubisoft was supposed to give all of us all of those items. I still only have the 2015 badge and nothing else. And when I asked Ubisoft about it, they said, we have people manually going through and adding rewards to everyone because their system broke down. It didn't work. So instead of like, I guess, pushing it through the system again, they just have sometimes devs manually pushing through all of these changes, which is not good. I have told them before, I'm like, you can't just keep relying on a manual system. That is not good. They also had to do that when the Doctor's Curse credit thing happened. When they went through that, so with the Doctor's Curse credit pack thing, I found out about it. It was where if you bought all the packs, you couldn't open them, so it would refund all the packs, but it would give you more credits than what you spent. I posted about it, and I told people, I was like, don't do this because you might get banned. A lot of people did it, and they got banned. Ubisoft then went through and manually reviewed all of those cases, or not all of them, I guess in some cases. So it's not an efficient system. It takes them forever to go through, and I remember some people for the Doctor's Curse thing, it just said you are banned, but it didn't tell you how long you were banned for. It wasn't until they reviewed your account and then took everything away and then added your account back in that you would get unbanned. So this is not the first time Ubisoft will have to like manually comb through stuff. For something like this, it actually might even take longer than 2 weeks, but I think they'll probably just go based off of the last update, reset everyone's credits and renown, and just hope for the best. That's my guess. But overall, no timeline. We have zero clue when this is going to be fixed. The other important thing and I think this is probably the most important thing for you guys to know. You are not compromised. Okay? This is very important. A lot of you don't know how the systems work. I don't even know how the systems work. I am using my 1.5 years of computer science degree and then 4 months of working as an IT person at a school, understanding their servers and stuff to explain this. So I'm not even the best person for this, but I'm going to try to explain it as best as I can. Everyone has your local access, which is your computer with your information, blah, blah, blah. And then the servers have access to other things, and then they, connect. So the servers have access to credits, your level, your renown. So that way you can't like locally farm or manipulate it. You can't just say, I own 2 billion credits and it gives it to you. That is all server side. So what has been compromised is the back end. Ubisoft's back end for Siege has been compromised. But that does not mean that your account, your personal information has been compromised. A lot of people are posting saying, uninstall Siege. Don't even touch Siege until this gets resolved. As far as we are to understand, again, we could be wrong because we don't know what's going on fully. They don't have access to anything of your personal information. Because all they're doing is just pushing stuff through the server. The ban ticker is server side. Credits, banning everyone, that's all server side. They have not done anything on local machines. As far as we are to understand, the anti-cheat itself has also not been compromised because there's multiple layers to this. I'm trying to find the best way to explain it, but basically the anti-cheat is like, an actual piece of software. It's not like they have access to everything in the anti-cheat because the bans are also different. You can ban someone without having access to the anti-cheat. That is why Ubisoft can manually ban people. It's not like they have to send it into BattlEye and be like, yo, ban people. That's not how that works. So just because they can ban people does not mean that they have access to your computer or to the anti-cheat. It's just to the server and they can push through things. Thanks for sub Liam and Africano and Runts and Faith. Thank you all for the subs. So, you guys are not compromised. Your account is not compromised.
I just love Dex, bro. I just love Dex, bro.
All right. And then here's the other 2 important pieces of information that go along with the you have not been compromised. You do not have to uninstall. You can. If you are worried about this, if you are concerned about your safety, about your personal security, you can uninstall, but you don't have to. Because again, all they have access to is the server. Right now, I have the game open. They don't have access to anything because the servers are down. Very likely right now, the people who did all this don't have access to anything because since the servers are down, they can't do anything. Again, they only have access to the back end. They could have access to more, but as far as we're aware, that's not happening. Okay? Also, they shouldn't have your passwords. This is, again, if you want, you could reset your password. You could change all of this stuff. You don't have to, though, because I don't think a lot of you guys know how passwords work.
I just love
But
Dex, bro.
when it comes to stuff like this, it's not like they just have a giant text document that just says, here is Varsity's password. Here is Evan's password. Here is Priest's password. It doesn't work like that. So even if they do have access to the passwords on file, it's not your actual passwords. So all right. I tried to explain this as best as I can for the people who don't understand how hashing, salting, all that stuff works. So, The way a security system works for your password. Let's say your password is Hunter2. The meme, in case you don't know. The way it works is they have their own encryption stuff, which is called salting, hashing. I can't remember. I learned this fucking like 9 years ago. So they will change your password. So they put it through their system, which does like a ton of, you know, things in the background that I do not know about. It converts your password into this. So Hunter2 would turn into like @ capital L 2 dot hyphen XY. All right. How do you know my password? So if they were to access passwords, this is what they would have. They would have this hashed password. So they can't really do a whole lot with this. They could try to reverse engineer it, but they need to know what the original password is, which they don't know. So how does this work normally? Because a lot of you people probably don't understand it, is that whenever you enter a password, it goes through the system and then it compares what password you put in after it's hashed with the password they have on file. So like if you put in instead of Hunter2, if you put in Hunter1, it will give you a similar password, but it might not be exactly the same. Like instead of a Y at the end, it might be a Z. So then they'll be like, this doesn't match. This is not the same. Reject it. So again, if they have the hash passwords, you're not really at risk unless they can find a way to reverse engineer the entire password system for Ubisoft, which I think is very unlikely. Also, I think it's incredibly unlikely they even have access to this, but I'm just explaining it to you guys so you don't have to worry about your password being compromised, because as far as we're aware, that is not a thing. Again, it looks like all they had access to was the backend system to push through changes, but as far as we're aware, they didn't have access to actually pull data from there. Could be wrong. We don't know. This is all pure speculation. So, as far as we're aware, you don't have to worry about any of that. You're not compromised. Ubisoft is compromised. And even then, it's just like the server backend is compromised, not all of the information. Okay? I think that's basically everything, though. So this is the whole timeline, and that's what you need to know. So as far as you guys are concerned, you're fine. Siege is the one with the problem. People in chat are saying that also apparently they tweeted something out. Let me check. They did not tweet out anything. I'll also relaunch the game. I don't think the servers are going to be back up, but I will check. As far as I'm aware, they're not going to reboot the servers for a long time, but it's worth checking just in case. But yeah, okay. I don't think there's anything more you guys need to know, but if you have questions, I'll try to pull some good questions from chat and try to answer them. Again, this is important for you guys to know as well. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, okay? I could have just made all this shit up and you guys are just believing me because I put it down on a whiteboard. Take everything you see with a grain of salt. I am as aware as you guys are. Sure, I have some more background knowledge on how like systems work, but at the end of the day, I'm about as clueless as you guys, okay? So you shouldn't just believe everything, because again, I could say you are not compromised. What if we are? Fuck if I know. I'm going based off of my base level knowledge. We could all be fucked. They could have access to all of our computers. We don't know. That's fine. Annie's worried. The whiteboard is convincing. It is. Best purchase. Servers are still down. I just relaunched it and servers are unreachable. So, nothing's changed there. But yeah, so just because I'm telling you guys all this and I'm trying to break it down does not mean it's 100% accurate. Obviously, go with what Ubisoft tells you. Whatever they say is probably as accurate as we're going to get. Obviously, Ubisoft is not going to tell us everything. They will try as hard as they can to keep the information down to a minimum, because whenever they spread information about how stuff happens, other people get ideas. So like if they say, oh, so I don't think I actually even mentioned this. Not really. So this very likely, we mentioned it before I started pulling out the whiteboard. This very likely all happened because of social engineering. I hit my old computer. So, social engineering is like the number one way with how people get access to things they shouldn't have access to nowadays. Social engineering is the act of tricking people into giving you access to things you shouldn't have access to. Think of it like if you were to go, you know how people see this all the time on TikTok and stuff. If you go to the movie theater with a clipboard, a hard hat, and a reflector vest and say, I'm here to come inspect something, they'll probably just let you in and then you can just go see a movie, right? That's social engineering. That is tricking people into thinking you are something that you are not, or getting information from them and then using that to your advantage to get something for free or access something for free. So, a big thing nowadays, this is very common across basically any company you will work for now that is tech related, is they will now have social engineering tests. So the number one way that people get access to things they shouldn't have access to is phishing emails. So, what is a phishing email? I'm sure 90% of you know this, but I'm going to say it just in case. A phishing email will just say, hey, we have a survey for you, or hey, like check out this link. People will click on it, and then the link will install a virus or access something or whatever. It'll just do something to get information from you, and then they have access to everything. So it's just like clicking the wrong link, downloading the wrong attachment, stuff like that. And they usually try to mask themselves as an official entity. So you guys have probably gone a million phishing attempts in your life and you just ignore them all. Sometimes people fall for them. It happens. To use a personal example, I know someone who they woke up in the middle of the night and they got an email saying, hey, you have to pay for your, what's it called, like import fees on this product. And while they were in the washroom, half asleep, they just paid it off because they were like, oh, yeah, I shipped something. I got to pay it off. That was a phishing scam. They inputted their credit card got compromised because they take advantage of the fact that you might think like, oh yeah, I did ship something, or oh yeah, like, you know, I probably did forget to pay my customs on something, or it's in the middle of the night and you might be asleep. So people will fall for this. Happens to everyone. A lot of companies, again, do phishing email tests. A big thing nowadays is that HR or IT will work together. They'll send out a phishing email test to everyone or to a couple people. If you fail and you click on it, you have to go through training. If you pass, you're good. They know that you're safe. Like, you'll know what you're doing. But to loop back to the original point, people who try to hack into the system will send phishing emails or phishing scams of whatever kind they can to Ubisoft employees. And this happens for every company. This happens for Rockstar. This happens for Riot. This happens for any company out there that makes games or even technology. They will get phishing emails. It happens. So all you need is one employee, just one, and you can get in. If it's not through phishing emails, a lot of times it's just people you know. A lot of leaks that have happened in Siege and in every other game as well, it's just people you know. Someone has a brother who works at Siege or like on Siege, or they have like, you know, a mom who works there or a dad or whatever, and obviously your family does not think that you're going to go through their computer and figure stuff out and post it, but that happens. To use an example, GTA 6. We talked about this earlier. GTA 6 was leaked like 20 minutes of gameplay or 10 minutes of gameplay because the son of a dev wanted to be TikTok famous, so he recorded 10 to 20 minutes of GTA 6 and posted it online. It happens all the time. Obviously, no one's going to assume that their kid, their brother, their sibling, whatever of any kind is going to do this, but it happens all the time. And obviously, you can go extra miles to try to protect yourself and protect your company, but at the end of the day, if someone works from home, how many of them are going to think that their kid is going to steal something or do something? They're just probably going to leave their laptop or whatever, and then the kid doesn't. It happens. That is something that will never be fixed because people trust family too much. Let this be a lesson. Never trust your family. They're all out to get you. So, phishing emails, people you know, and then other things they do, which is like it kind of ties into phishing emails, but it's also its own thing. So the next one is they'll get info from you and then they'll reverse engineer their way in. So I can't think of like a specific example off the top of my head. I've heard of stories like this. Who knows how accurate they are, but some things that people will do is like they've catfished devs and they've gotten personal information from them and then use that to log in to their work stuff and access stuff. So like, you know, Bobby, lead developer of Siege Anti-Cheat, feeling kind of lonely, gets catfished by a online person. They find out information about how Bobby, you know, whatever he likes, his favorite color, his second grade teacher's name, whatever. And then they log into his account because they're like, hey, what's your security password? Oh, your second grade teacher's name? Fucking Mrs. Bobinson. And then they log in. All right? So fucking Bobby out here getting the system compromised because he's lonely and desperate. But it happens. I know you guys are lonely and desperate. I know you guys would fall for this in a fucking heartbeat. It happens. So they'll get info, reverse engineer their way in, and then as far as the system is aware, Bobby just logged in for the day. And Bobby just banned everyone. And then they're like, Bobby, what the fuck happened? He's like, wasn't me. I'm in Barbados with Mrs. Bobinson, who actually turned out to be his wife. He married her 20 years later. I know. Plot twist. So that's how else they'll get in. And then this is also one of the hardest things to counter because that's just social life. Like people talk about themselves in general to other people, and then they use that as a way to get in. It's the same thing as like if someone tricks you into getting your PIN for your credit card, you might not think about it, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm in. I figured it out because you told me your 4 favorite numbers in sequence. Like, you know, stuff like that. What else? What else do we have to talk about? I guess not specific for another topic, but so to go back to all of this, social engineering is very likely how they got in. It is very unlikely that they just like, you know, found a fucking backdoor panel that they opened. They're like, oh my god, I have access to everything. Generally, it's how they get in. This is also how majority of leaks happen in Siege, is that they get information from people. They sometimes all they'll do is like if they use a phishing email, they'll get access to your email for leaks specifically, and then they'll just post whatever information comes through emails or Slack or whatever. It happens all the time. The only way to combat that is to do stuff like resetting your password every week, which is just obscene. Yeah. So this is very likely what happened. They probably got in. Also, a lot of times, I don't know how many of you guys have ever had this. If your credit card has ever been compromised, most people, when they compromise a credit card, they don't use it right away. So they probably social engineered their way into the back end of Siege and just haven't done anything for a while, and then they do it now, so that it's harder for them to figure it out. Because like, let's say you send a phishing email, Bobby clicks on it, right? You have his login. If you immediately log into Siege and start banning people, they're going to be like, we figured out exactly what it was. It was a phishing email that Bobby clicked on, gave someone access, they banned people. Super easy to track. Meanwhile, Bobby clicks that phishing email, you don't do anything for like
everywhere.
6 months, and then suddenly you start banning people. They're like, what the fuck is going on? How did they get in? We don't know what happened. So it's very likely they have had access for a long time and they just haven't done anything about it because they didn't want to get caught right away. That's how it works. By the way, thanks for the 5 gifted subs from Zith, Nobish with the Prime, Hubba with the 43 months, Real Ijet with the Prime, Zith with the tier 1, Krem with the gifted sub, Polar with the Prime, Ayo Daddio with the 5 months, Papa Gustav with the Prime, Liam Smed. I think we're all caught up now. Bobby sounds like a bitch. Bobby fucking ruined Siege, I'll tell you that much. So, I think that is everything. I don't know if there's anything else I'm leaving out or any dire questions you guys have. I feel like I've tried to answer everything I can, but this is everything you really need to know about what happened, the timeline. This is what you need to know about now to worry about yourself, and this is very likely how it happened. How much time does UB need to solve it? We said it could be anywhere between 24 hours to like 2 weeks. We don't know. We have absolutely zero clue because it's a complicated topic and it could be way deeper than we know.
I just love decks, bro.
I'm reading in my group chat. Damn. We're at 1,100 viewers on YouTube and 2,300 viewers on Twitch. And to think I was not going to stream today. Also, the last thing I'll mention about the timeline. The reason why I think it'll be like 24 hours. Actually, it'll probably be more likely 48 hours, I'm guessing, until Siege is back online. Because it's the weekend, so there's devs who are gone, blah, blah, and they're not going to be able to hop on to help. But I do think that they're going to do whatever they can to just try to get the servers back online as fast as possible. Because every hour that Siege is down, Ubisoft loses money. And you know Ubisoft, they don't like losing money. They're not in it for the love of the game. They're in it for the money. You predicted it, though? It's obvious. Every year this happens. Every single year that Ubisoft goes on holiday, something happens. Doesn't take a rocket surgeon to figure it out, you know? Thanks for 250 bits, Venray.
I just love decks,
I'm just
bro.
catching strays today,
We
getting
could
called poor and
pretend
lonely.
but
Guess I should
much love
divorce
to
my
you.
wife and refund the... whoa, let's talk about this. Also, thanks for the 7 months from Trainer. Last year, same thing happened. It's never been to this level, but every year around Christmas time, something bad happens where it's usually something like cheats are just fully back online. When was the chicken? Was that last year in Christmas as well? I don't know. It's been 10 years. It's hard for me to remember everything that's ever happened in Siege, but there's always, around Christmas time, there's always some crazy cheat, hack, exploit thing that happens, and then shit happens for a few days. It's also, again, it's not a Siege only thing. Do you guys remember? Actually, you guys probably weren't even born yet. It was Christmas of 2012, I think, where they shut down, like a group of hackers shut down PlayStation for 2 weeks, a week. It was like, I think they were called like LOL Squad or something. I don't know. Ball Sacks, something like that. Lizard Squad, that, yeah. They shut down PlayStation for like a week just to say fuck you. This happens. And they do it over Christmas because they know a lot of people are out of office. They know it's harder to get all hands on deck to fix the situation. They always do it around Christmas for different games, different companies, different reasons, whatever it is. I guess ultimately, also the last thing to say, we don't know the reason for this. We have no idea why they're doing this, but it's just very likely that they just want to fuck over the devs. Again, it does take a very particular type of person to want to do this in the first place, but usually they do this because they're like, I want to ruin their Christmas. It's depressing as hell to think that that's what they want to do, but that is what they do. And
I just love decks.
there's nothing we can really do to fix that. Thanks for the sub from Thick Skull. Would this be considered a crime? So Stuff like this is a crime because what you're doing is essentially shutting down a company's ability to make money. Same thing happened with the PlayStation hack in 2012, 2011, whenever that was. It's a crime. It's a crime to do this shit. Does anything ever happen? Usually not. Because at the end of the day, first off, finding out who it was is going to be hard enough. Second off, doing anything about it and getting, a court order and them sometimes, in some cases, you might need to extradite them from a country because they might live in fucking Uganda and the company's based out of France. It's just like, is France going to fucking send the military to go extradite some 12-year-old hacker out of their home to put them in court? Probably not. There's also a big reason why cheat developers are mainly in China, because whenever companies try to take them to court, China's just like, we don't fucking care. We're not going to do anything. Recently, they've slightly changed that. There was the whole raid that they did and took down like one of the biggest cheat providers in the world and seized all of their Lamborghinis. But for the most part, they don't care. It's all up to the companies and whatever they want to do with it. It's also usually not worth it. It's not worth it to pursue this because, again, it's usually just some kid. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but majority of the time when this shit happens, it's like some 15-year-old kid. Because, again, they normally will just find some person, access their account, get in, do whatever damage they can because they got nothing else to do, and then that's it. That's generally how it works. Do you think UB or players will get back, or is UB just going to do a rollback? I mean, I think that both are the same. I think UB will roll back, and then players will get access again. There was a bug where you changed the console date and time, and you could get free skins. They just reverted it. That's very different than using, like, stolen currency to buy stuff. I wouldn't put that on the same level. Jeez, thank you for the 10 gifted subs from Aussie.
It just came everywhere.
Yeah. I think I've kind of talked about everything. Tarkov just had a similar issue with Steam linked accounts. Don't think it could be a correlation of Steam by chance, but with the similarity. No, Siege has been on Steam for years. I don't think that changes anything. Do I think people who spend credits will be banned? I think if you are very egregious with it, you'll be more likely to catch a ban. We talked about it before. If you did a shit ton of stuff, maybe. Oh, okay. Last thing we'll talk about. Or I'll add to the whiteboard, and then we can just mindlessly talk about other stuff. There is an ongoing theory with a lot of the community, and this has been a theory for every possible thing that ever happens with Ubisoft, Siege, whatever. Was it an inside job? Obviously, any company is going to always say no. They're going to say, no, it was not an inside job. It was someone else who did it. But this type of shit happens all the time. For every game company, ever. For every game out there that you can think of, guaranteed. My marker. There was at least like one dev at some point who was willing to sell their soul basically for money and to do stuff that they shouldn't be doing. It happens. Every single company out there will always have insider people looking to do stuff like that. It happens. I personally don't think that one of the devs was the reason for this. Like, I don't think they intentionally chose to do this. Because again, this is also over Christmas break. If you're a dev at this company and you know a lot of the people, obviously, that you work with, are you going to sell some information that will fuck over everyone you know over Christmas break? Depending on how much money it is, maybe. But, like, also, these cheaters don't really gain anything from doing this. Like, the people who did this aren't making money. So they're not going to pay a dev a shit ton. Because, like, imagine if you're the people doing this and you're like, we make $0 off of this and we have to pay a dev $10,000 for the information. Like, I can't imagine many groups who would want to do that unless they just have fucking shit tons of money, which very unlikely. They're all poor. You always can, someone in the chat's right, you can always just like steal credit cards and send money and do whatever, but that all becomes more traceable. As soon as you steal a credit card and you start transferring money to a dev, that becomes very easily traceable. And that's going to become a big issue for the dev to get caught. Cheat devs are not poor. Cheat devs are not the people doing this. Okay. Also, again, I could be wrong, but I'm going off of reasonable knowledge here and, like, you know, does it make sense? Cheat developers make their money while Siege is online. Every day that Siege is down, Siege cheat developers lose a shit ton of money or potential income. Having a cheat developer do this to shut down Siege would just fuck them over. You want Siege to be online. You want Siege to continue running so that you can keep making money, because Siege cheat developers usually sell their cheats based off time. So they'll say, like, you can rent the cheats for an hour, for a day, for a week. If Siege is down for a day, you lose customers. Siege cheat providers wouldn't want this to happen. I think it'd be more likely, again, I'm not saying based off any information, I'm just saying it would probably be more likely that a Siege developer would help with the cheat developer. I don't think a Siege developer would help with just taking down the game, because that just doesn't make any sense. Every game needs an anti-cheat like Valorant. I'm just going to throw it out there. Again, no exact knowledge on this, but having an anti-cheat like Valorant would not prevent something like this from happening. This is a back-end security system issue, not an anti-cheat issue. Because anti-cheat is stopping cheaters. It's not stopping people from gaining access to tools that they shouldn't have access to. That's not how that works. Someone said their theory is that big cheat providers did this to send a message because Ubisoft is actually getting rid of cheaters, like, pretty concretely. Again, I disagree. Even if Ubisoft is taking down a lot of cheats and making it harder for them to earn money, would you rather, if you own a company, would you rather make some money or zero money? I think the answer is pretty obvious that you'd rather make some money. If you take down Siege, again, you make no money. So you might as well just let them keep doing their anti-cheat thing. And, like, cheat providers, I'm not going to lie, they're not stupid. We all know this. They're unfortunately smart people who just don't want to use their knowledge for good. So instead they use it to help the degenerates cheat. So they're not going to be dumb and shut down the game. And most cheat providers, when they realize that a game is not worth providing cheats for because it's too hard, they just move on to a different game. Because there's a million games out there and a million cheats they can make. If they look at Siege and they're like, man, it's impossible now for us to make cheats, they're going to move on to Arc Raiders. They're going to move on to Tarkov. They're going to move on to all these other games that have worse anti-cheats and they can easily make cheats for and make money off of. That's just how the business works. Again, I don't think this was an inside job. I think it's way more likely that this is just a group of disgruntled people who just hate Ubisoft, hate the devs, and have been planning this for a while. Again, I don't think that this was planned in the spur of the moment. I think it's incredibly unlikely that they figured this out on Christmas Day and they're like, fuck, let's do this quick. They probably have had access to this for a while. They chose to act now when Ubisoft is out of office. That's about all there is to it. Anything else beyond this is all just pure speculation and pure conjecture. Like, no one knows for sure what is happening other than Ubisoft themselves. Probably even the people who did this don't know what's happening anymore because I'm sure Ubisoft probably just shut down everything. They're like, well, we have access to nothing now. It's probably the same people that have been spamming streamers with the invites. It's possible, but I feel like there wouldn't be as much overlap there as you imagine there would be. But you're not wrong. That could be it. I thought the exact same thing when I was coming upstairs to stream. I was like, I wonder if the person who spammed me with invites would try to do this. But then, think about it like this. That person was spamming me with invites with a username that had a shit ton of racist stuff in it. If it was the same person, they probably would have sent those exact same racial slurs to everyone across the entire game because that's what they find joy in. They wouldn't just send random messages like happy or Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Like, that just doesn't sound the same. So I feel like it's unlikely it's the same person. I got banned 1 year ago and I still don't know the reason why. They won't tell me. This is karma. Bro, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. You are not that important. This is not karma for you getting banned. Also, very likely you got banned for a very particular reason that you're just refusing to acknowledge. You probably cheated and are just like, this is bullshit. I shouldn't be banned. Or you probably did something against the rules and you're like, I don't like this. I shouldn't be banned for this. Bro, you probably deserved it and no one cares about you. This is not karma. Also, karma is supposed to be equal. Banning some nobody from the game is not the same as the whole game shutting down. Those are not two equals. 6-7. Yeah, I think we've covered everything. Chat, you guys satisfied with that? Have we covered all the bases? Because I feel like I don't really have much else to tell you about what's happening or what could happen. I feel like we've said what we can, and now it's just a matter of waiting to find out. Insult me some more. Apparently there is an update from Ubisoft. It says chat, but I don't know if I believe that. The last tweet I see from the Ubisoft support page is a Rabbids Christmas. Everyone in chat keeps saying this update, but I don't know where the fuck you guys pulled this from because there's literally nothing. Maybe it's in the Discord. I feel like people are just pulling shit out of their ass. Wait, did I leave the... Oh, no, I didn't.
I just love Dex, bro.
Yeah, I don't see anything about what chat is trying to claim.
I just love Dex, bro.
But yeah, that's everything.
Dex, bro.
I might upload this as a video for tomorrow because I feel like a lot of people are very freaking out about this and need some reassurance. But I don't even know what my video for tomorrow was supposed to be. That was the Thatcher rework video. Yeah. What about our personal info? Wait, where is it? You are not compromised. Yeah, so I'll probably, if for anyone who missed everything else we talked about, I'll probably upload this to YouTube tomorrow so you guys can know what's happening. But I don't think the servers are gonna be back on today. I do think it's gonna be down for the rest of the day. We'll see. I don't even think anyone's playing right now. I think the only streams that have gameplay right now are VOD channels. That would be my guess. I'm looking through. I see a lot of people have like the game open. Oh no, those are some of them are just VOD channels as well. I'm surprised that so many people tuned in for this stream to listen to everything. I genuinely thought I was gonna have like 500 viewers today, and we're just gonna sit here and chill. Do you guys like your lesson today? Also, while I wait for the answer, thanks for subs from Bjurmer, 200 bits from Yibble, Saucy X, Sashka, Ace, Yibble with another 100. I think I already thanked Ozzy. Thank you. No one else is streaming. Whoa, 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 whoa. You're not here just because no one else is streaming. You guys are here for me. All right? Let that be clear. Don't come here with your bullshit of like, oh, I didn't have anyone else to watch. You came here because you wanted to watch me. Okay? Don't lie. Oh, I just came everywhere. Room tour. Everything you see is my room. At least the actual occupied stuff. Actually, I also should maybe reiterate. Everything you see on the screen here is about 1/3 of my actual room. The rest of the room is just empty or useless. All right, chat. You guys want to see the rest of the room? I can show you. Thank you again for more bits from you. I don't even know how many bits you've given, but thank you. And thank you for the 10 more gifted subs from Amish. Also a hydrate. All right. I'll show you guys the rest of the room. One sec.
I just love decks, bro.
Sorry, I had to move the whiteboard out of the way because it was blocking the vision. Okay, so I'll start off by saying, so this corner, this is my whole setup because when we originally bought this house, I had a whole idea, which we bought during COVID, by the way, but it was like, okay, this whole floor is going to be my office, like my studio. What we're going to do is have my setup here. We're going to have a podcast corner over there, which we did have a podcast over COVID, but then that kind of got ruined by COVID. And then I was like, and then we're going to have like Lego stuff over there. We'll have extra computers all around so that we can do like more, I don't know, content stuff. It was supposed to be basically a whole content den. Now, all I use is just this corner. The rest of the room is completely empty and useless. So, again, this is my corner. I'm going to show you the other 2/3. So, I know it's angled, but I just don't want to angle the camera more. We have over there in the back corner where that table is. That was the podcast corner. We used to have the bookshelf next to it and stuff. And then over there, we have some knocked over bookshelves and stuff.
I just
And
love
then
decks, bro.
what you guys don't see is that there's actually even more to the floor behind the wall, which is like right here in front of me, is my bathroom. And then there's the staircase over there. So yeah, pretty big room. I think last time I measured the whole floor is like 1,400 square feet. I know people always ask that. How much does the room echo? Not much, because there's pads on the roof, on the ceiling. Why is the room larger than my apartment? Chat. I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. Okay? You guys can't tell anyone. You can never use this against me. I have a lot of money. That's how the room is so big. I never really wasted too much of my money from YouTube, so we spent it on the house. Because a lot of other YouTubers, they do hemorrhage money by just buying cars, buying whatever they want, wasting money. I never really did any of that, so I mean, I wasted money on a car, but it wasn't that much. And you can't furnish it. So this room used to have a lot more stuff. Where the bookshelf was, used to be a table filled with Lego. All the Lego you could ever want. We got 2 cats. The cats ruined everything. So, yeah. Remember the video about how much you made that year? Yeah, I made a lot of money. I always try to do a video like every 2 years or so, where I update you guys on how much money I made in the year. And I think the last one I made like 400k on YouTube or something. Canadian. But then, previous years I made a lot more. 400k was a pretty low year for me. Have chat on the screen while we wait. Just a casual 400k, nothing too serious. Alright. I'm smart enough to acknowledge that I am incredibly lucky and that I probably should not be making as much money as I do, but we do. I'll never forget. One month I was so pissed because up until COVID, it was like 2021, 2022 when I stopped, you know, like hyper analyzing every day of income and hoping to push more and more and more. Around 2021, 2022, I just became more like, you know, whatever. Also, geez, $100 from Evo on YouTube chat. Should hop on Arc Raiders with Mr. Peanut. Bro, I don't got that type of motion. You think I can talk to Mr. Peanut? Burnt Peanut don't care about me. I'm nothing. But yeah, during like COVID is when I was like pushing, trying to make more and more money each month. I'll never forget the one month I was pissed because I didn't crack 100k on YouTube in a month. I made it to like 98,000, and I was like, just one like more banger video and I'd cross 100k, and I was like, fuck, I didn't pass 100k. And then ever since then I was like, that's kind of fucked. That's kind of crazy. How amazing it was back then. It's still good now, don't get me wrong, but kind of fucked up. I was also like, I was like 26. I can't even imagine what the younger content creators are going through. The ones who are like 19, 20, making like 400k a year. Like, fuck. I was an adult and it still fucked me up. It fucked me up in a sense like, it makes you lose perception of how things should be. But I still think I'm lucky that I have friends who keep me somewhat grounded. Because I think if I didn't have that, having that much money, I probably would have become quite the degenerate. Like how millionaires don't know the price of daily groceries. I'll admit, I'm at fault. I do that too. I have, like, me and my friends will talk about stuff, and I'll be like, oh, I bought this, and they'll be like, how much was it? I was like, I don't know. I just bought it. I'm like that is kind of crazy. I should not be in that situation in general, and I should, note stuff like that, but it does happen. That's just the reality of, like, the situation. We in different tax brackets for sure. If it helps, Annie has been pushing me a lot to be more frugal. Speaking of which, Venray just said basically the same thing. I'm lucky. I was always smart enough for myself that I never outspent my income, because I would always be like, my general rule of thumb, which I think was a pretty safe rule, and I made it a hard rule for myself to not break past this, was if I wanted to buy something, as long as it was less than half of the amount of money I would make in a day, I could buy it. If it was more than that, I'd have to stop and think about it. And then if I did buy it, then I wouldn't be allowed to buy anything else for a bit. So when it came to like buying, a big purchase, I was like, okay, I'm going to him and haw over this for like at least a week, really think about it. Do I need it? Do I want it? Do I still care about it in a week from now? Whatever. But I would always be like, base it off of my daily income, and I'll never spend more than half of my daily income on something on a whim. And I was like, that way I'll never overspend. I'll always have money left over. Thank you for the $20 from Sebastian in YouTube chat. Just joined the stream. Could you give a quick rundown of the situation? Very brief rundown, because we just talked about this for like an hour and a half, so I'm kind of, repeating myself. Ubisoft backend or Siege backend was hacked. They were able to send messages, send credits, send whatever they wanted to the server, which would display for everyone. Ubisoft has shut down the servers in the meantime because they don't want people spending. Everyone was given 2 billion credits. They don't want people spending credits, so they shut down the servers. And they are currently working on a fix. We probably will not get a fix until tomorrow. I probably will not stream for the full 4 hours that I normally do every day. I will probably end stream in the next hour or so, because I don't think Siege is going to be back online. I think we'll be lucky if everything goes back to normal within a week. I think it'll likely take up to 2 weeks for things to be more stabilized. I think Siege should be back online by Monday. That's my guess. What is a car collection? For me, I don't have a car collection. I have a Tesla Model S, which was my stupid purchase when I was 22. I bought it. I shouldn't have bought it, but I bought it. And then we also have a Tesla Model 3 that I had originally purchased for my mom, but when she passed away, Annie took the car, because it was my car technically. So we have those 2 cars, and that's it. I don't waste money on cars, because cars are stupid to waste money on, because why the fuck are you going to spend, $400K or whatever on a car? That's dumb. So I bought my one stupid purchase as a car when I was 22, and then I was like, that's it. I'm done. And I also just finally finished paying off both of my cars, which was pretty nice. It really sucks to owe money on your car, but better than buying it outright. How old am I? I just turned 30 this year. 400K to sit in traffic like the rest of us peasants? Yeah. I mean, again, I see a car as taking you from point A to point B. The only reason I bought the Tesla Model S was because when I was in university, and I would talk to my friend Drew all the time about, like, we would just be supposed to be doing homework together, and we would just, like, pull up the Tesla website and be like, look at how cool these cars are. Once YouTube started, like, really skyrocketing, not even skyrocketing, I was making like $6K a month, which is still good. It's really good for a 22-year-old. But I was making more than I should have. I was like, I'm going to buy the car. And the car was like, I think it was $1,800 a month or $1,600 a month. So I spent like a quarter of my income on that car, which was really stupid. But I was like, that was my dream car for a long time. I really wanted it. I had enough money. I was like, I'm doing it. Yeah, 1.6K a month. It was $140,000 over 8 years. 8 years was the only term they offered for your financing. How much should I put down? I don't know. Probably like 15K would be my guess. And then it was 14K off for government rebate, and then it was another 12K off because it was a stock car, like a showroom car. It was not a smart purchase. I am willing to admit that. A Tesla as a dream car, didn't have much ambition back then. I've just never been a big car guy, so I was like, why would I want a Lamborghini or a whatever? Like, those are a waste of money, you know? Are we taking it to a track? No. I don't really care about racing cars or anything like that. I'm not like Skittles. I don't have a small PP, so I don't feel the need to race my car around to feel better about myself, you know? You know what I learned about that, Josh? One sec. So, in the US, apparently there's some like weird law. There's a reason why content creators, for the most part, have Lamborghini Uruses, Urus, whatever, how you pronounce it, is because apparently in the US, you can buy a car or like a truck or whatever for your company, but it has to be over a certain weight. And the Lamborghini Urus is like the only Lamborghini that's above that weight. So you can legally buy that car under your company in the US because it's heavy enough. I'm telling you, US is a make-believe place. It makes no sense. So that's why you'll see a lot of content creators blow their money on that car because it's the only car that's like a high-end car that they can technically buy through the business. It's so stupid. By the way, thanks for subs from OG Tapmaster, 100 bits from Spend Doctor, gifted from Snowzy. I'm Odin's with the 6 months, Hext with the tier 1. Thank you all, and Scrids. It's not stupid. I mean, it very much is. Yes, it is. What do you mean?
Decks, bro.
Buying a, how much even is it? Like $300,000 SUV for your business is dumb as fuck. When are you employing me? I know we talked about this before, because for a while I was like, maybe I should have like a paid for mod that just sits there and is there for every stream. And then when we did the math and stuff, I was like, I would basically end up spending most of what I make on Twitch to pay for one full-time mod. If I were to pay them like an actual reasonable wage. And I was like, I'm basically streaming to support someone else. Like, I don't think that's a great business move. Was I able to write off the car as a tax write-off? Not really. So I've talked to a lot of other content creators and they'll do stuff like that. It's really sketchy. And people always be like, no, it's fine. Like, my accountant wrote off on it. Your accountant can write off on anything and still could be against the law. It's just a matter of whether you get audited or not. So I just have the car under my name, or like I pay for it myself, paid for it myself. So it's not like a business car or anything like that. And I think my accountant's been pretty conservative where they're like, no, we're not doing that. That's not legal. I'm like, good. I've talked to other content creators and they're like, they do a lot of really sketchy shit and they're like, oh, business expense, my groceries. I'm like, but your groceries aren't a business expense. And they're like, well, I need to eat. I'm like, everyone needs to eat. You can't business expense groceries for your life. Like, that's not how that works. So, but all I'm saying is there's a lot of content creators specifically for Siege that if they ever get audited, they are fucked. By the way, thanks for sub from Edgar. Technically, you can write off whatever the fuck you want. You can, but it's not legal. Side hustle varsity finances. There's actually something I talked about with my friend Drew, who's very like finance focused. Like he works for a bank. He cares a lot about stocks, dividends, stuff like that. Everything, all the financial terms you can think of. And I've talked about this before. I did think about starting a financial channel where me and him would maybe do like weekly episodes where we talk about, it could be anything. I was like, we could start it off as like a I'm 30 and I'm retired type thing, because I'm 30 and I technically could retire with the money I have. And we'd like talk about that, like break down, you know, monthly expenditures, how much I would need to survive, how much I would need to invest, hoping, you know, assuming a certain rate, whatever. And we could like break it all down. So I was like, I think there's an audience for that, people who would want to do that. But the issue then we'll run into is time. Because I already have my plate full with just like my content creation for YouTube and stuff. I can't imagine doing more than this. I already, like, when I was doing Battlefield video or like shorts on top of everything else, I was already forgetting shit. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to do more. Yeah, there are a lot of financial audit shows because of Caleb Hammer and all of them, but you know, there's an audience for it. But I will say I want to do more of a positive spin on it, because like I know those shows are popular because they're negative. They focus on people who don't have their finances in order and roast the shit out of them for it. But I wanted to focus more on like people who did it right, and to explain to other people how these people did it right, and to like try to learn from them. So for example, for me, like I would be the first person where they'd be like, this is a YouTuber who maybe I obviously didn't do everything right, but I did a lot right because I have money. That's the summary of it. So it'd be like, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? What would I change? What should I focus on? What should I grow? What should I invest in? Stuff like that. Also, thanks for 21 months from Whopper. And then Prime sub from NY NCSGO. It's definitely a big gap for that. I'm always trying to find proper guidance. Well, then that's also the other concern that I had was like, I don't want to be like saying, listen to us, we know what we're talking about, because we don't. No one knows what they're talking about. All these financial shows claim that they know what they're doing, but a lot of the time they're just like, I don't know, sounds good to me, and then they just move on. No one has all the answers. If people had all the answers, then being rich wouldn't be hard. Oh, but I do have the answer to this one question. Is it worth investing in crypto? No. Crypto is a scam. Okay. Crypto is the definition of a rug pull slash almost pyramid scheme. Crypto is only worth it if you're one of the first people to invest in. And even then, it can still be a scam, because it's like crypto is only worth anything if other people think it's worth something. So crypto could be, you could say like, oh, Bitcoin's worth $80,000, but it only is worth that because people think it's worth that. So getting in late is like, by the time I explained it to this like for my one friend, because he was asking about investing in crypto. I said, by the time you as an individual find out about this crypto thing you should invest in, it's too late. You as an average person are never going to be on the forefront. You're never going to be the first person to figure it out. And then you'll have all these people, we have them in chat right now, people who are like, what do you mean crypto's a scam? No, it's the best thing ever. Like, it's a free market. It's unregulated. We can do whatever we want. Like, bro, guaranteed, they'll never admit this. Majority of the people who love crypto and say it's the best thing ever, poor. They'll always say, oh, I made so much money off crypto. You know who else says that? The fucking gambling addicts who go to the casino and make $20 after losing $10,000. Like, oh, I made a profit. I made $20. It's like, no. For the average person and for most people, you're not going to make any money. Again, the money to be made in crypto is if you are the rug puller. You start it, you get everyone to invest all their money into it, and then you fully withdraw all your assets, and you made money and they're fucked. And again, the only people who make money in crypto are the first ones to get in, and then they sell it all before other people sell. Because here's how you know crypto's a scam. The people who truly believe in crypto and who really think it should have promise shouldn't have any money. And not have no money because they lost it all gambling on the wrong cryptos. But they shouldn't have any money because if they invest all their money into crypto, they should never pull it out. Because if they believe in crypto, they should never be selling it. Because if you're selling it, then you acknowledge the fact that you're just trying to, pump it up so you can sell it for more later. But people are like, no, crypto is decentralized. It beats all money. It's like, no, you're trying to pump it up so you can make more money and then sell it when other people invest. Varsity lost on some cryptos. He's salty. Never touched crypto in my life. It's not worth it. Do you know why I have so much money? Didn't waste it on crypto. You know what? I'm gonna be an asshole. I'm gonna pull the asshole rich card, okay? If you guys were so smart with crypto and able to make so much money with crypto, you wouldn't be in this Twitch chat right now, listening to me talk about how much money I have. You'd have more money than me. You would fucking go sail the world. Why are you in Twitch chat? Because you don't have money. You didn't make money on crypto. Again, if crypto was the best thing ever and you could just make as much money as you want, you guys wouldn't be here. I'm leaving. Fuck you. Let's go, chat. So, next time someone tells you crypto's amazing, maybe wonder why they're in a Twitch chat trying to pump up crypto. People who make millions of dollars with cryptocurrency aren't in Twitch chat trying to promote it or in YouTube chat. The same reason why the people who think that they've beat gambling aren't the ones, or like they are the ones in the casino who are like, I know a system, like you just gotta give me money, trust me. Because they already lost all their money. And they're like, no, I figured it out, don't worry about it. The people who actually cracked it and know what they're doing, they're not sitting there in the casino with a fucking cup out hoping to find some change to keep gambling.
I just love decks, bro.
People won't like to hear that, but that's the truth. Whoa. DZJT. Back it up. I was poor shaming while we were also reacting to R6 getting hacked. I've been poor shaming the entire time. Don't put it out of order. Are we defending crypto? Some people are trying to. I'm just trying to get through my shift. Sorry, Magic Alex, you got caught in the crossfire. Also, Josh, since you want to leave chat, please don't tell me that you actually invested in cryptocurrency. Please don't tell me you did that. Do some replays? I could, but I mean, honestly, I'll probably end soonish because I don't think the servers are gonna go up anytime soon. I just want to wait to see if anything comes out, but I don't think anything's gonna change. We'll give it like half an hour more. If nothing changes, I'll head out for the day, and then tomorrow we'll do hacker replay and hope that Siege is back online. Did I invest in stocks? Okay. I'm gonna give you guys some privilege insight,
I
okay?
just love decks, bro.
So when you get to a certain point, you don't really worry about specific investments. You have a investment firm that does it all for you. If you invested into Bitcoin 5 years ago, you would have 10 times. Okay? If I invested into Apple 30 years ago, I would be a multi-trillionaire. If I bought their entire stocks for $1 million, I'd be a multi-trillionaire. Looking back and saying, oh, you would be this rich if you spent this much money and did this, doesn't mean anything. Did you invest into Bitcoin and 10 times your money in those 5 years? And if so, if you made that much money, why are you in Twitch chat trying to defend cryptocurrency? You should be doing more important things since you have a lot of money. Although, I guess that argument falls apart because I'm in Twitch chat. And I have a lot of money. Ooh. Did I just give them some form of validation? That's not good. Stick to oiling up Varsity, not the crypto game. Thank you for the, I think those, yeah, euros, 2 euros from, is that Ubisoft support? Is that your name? Ubisoft support 12, crazy name. How about real estate? Would you invest in that? We've talked about it. I have looked into it, but the unfortunate part with real estate is there's multiple things. Okay, so one, choosing what type of clientele you want to have real estate for. So it's either you buy cheap property in a cheap area to rent out to people with less money. Issues there are people with less money in general. This was given to me as advice from my investment firm, and they kind of explained, they're like, it sounds shitty, but it's true. They're like, obviously, if you rent out to a lower income place, they're more likely to like miss a payment or cause problems or cause damage because, you know, obviously, if people have less money, they have less to lose, and they just don't care, type of thing. That was their explanation. And then, so you have that issue. It's like you can get a lot of cheap properties, cheap stuff, but then you'll have a lot of issues. Might might cost more money. And then the other option is to rent to a higher level of clientele because they're like, obviously, if you rent to rich people aren't gonna go into your rental and just like break the fridge. They might break stuff, but they'll usually pay for it because they have money and they don't care. So if you go to them and you're like, hey, you broke the fridge, they'll be like, okay, I'll pay for it.
Decks, bro.
But obviously, in the inverse case, if it's someone who has less money and you say you broke the fridge, and be like, fuck you, I don't care. Because they, one, either might not have the money to pay for it, or two, they don't care that they broke it and they will just move on. So they're like, those are your two options. You can either rent to rich or middle class / lower class, whatever you want to do. But they're like, each of them have their own issues. Because again, if you want to rent to rich people, then you need to pay a lot more upfront. You need to pay for a larger property, a nicer house, furnish it, have higher options, but then you make more per rental, blah, blah, blah. But then you also have a smaller clientele to rent to. So they were like, these are all the things. And then when Annie and I were looking at it all, we were just like, I was like, I kind of want to do it because real estate, the property will always go up, but then managing it is what the problem is. And I was like, do I really want to manage houses? Do I want to manage my renters? I was like, not really. So we didn't do it. I love how off the rails the stream has gone. I'm talking about whatever because we are waiting. I don't think anything's going to change in the next 30 minutes, but we'll just keep talking. Any updates on the situation? No. Still nothing from Ubisoft. Yesterday, me and my friend got permanent banned for 5 minutes. I have proof. Everyone did. I'm not trying to be mean when I say this. That's not special. Literally everyone got banned. These are my last £2. Take it to make me happy. Well, thank you for the £2, Joshy. Investment tip number 2. Don't give your last £2 to some random streamer from Canada. That being said, no chargebacks. Do you think there's going to be comp? Like Pro League? No, they're not going to fix, or they're not going to do Pro League until any of this is fixed. Although, actually, Pro League has been more on LAN recently, so I don't know. By the way, thanks for subs from Fat Rat and BBHJ. Great advice, also cheers. Maybe last thing I'll say about investments, unless people will keep talking about it. Last time I checked, my investments have actually been doing pretty good. I don't know if the market overall is good, or if my investment people are just really good at their job. Probably the latter. But I think we went up like 10% on the portfolio in just like the last month, which is crazy. $5 to 10% in a month. Kind of crazy. I think I don't follow it that much. Normally I would check it like every week, but I haven't checked in like 3 months, and I just checked. I was like, what the fuck? My portfolio went up. What's happening with the servers? Game is down for now until Ubisoft can fix it, because servers basically got hacked is the summary of it. Not really, but kind of. What's your view on sports gambling? Let me swallow and then I'll give you my thoughts. So, sports gambling, in my opinion, is about as degenerate and as pointless to a degree as the slot machine. I don't know why people have this idea that they basically think sports gambling is a sure thing, like a sure bet. So, my nephew, who's like 19, I think now, actually told me this the other day, or last year. It was last Christmas, actually, where he said, he's like, sports betting is like the best thing ever because it's free money. And I was like, what do you mean by that? He's like, if you know even a little bit of like knowledge, it's guaranteed free money. I was like, yeah, I don't know about that, because people say the same thing about blackjack. They're like, if you know how to play, it's free money. And then he's like, no, like sports betting is a sure thing, like guaranteed. So then I go around, I ask all my friends, every single one of them who gambles online sports betting. And every single one of them, they're like, oh, you know, I won $50 this week. I won $250 on this long-term bet. I won this, I won that. And then I found out that on all these apps, you can put, show me how much I've spent and how much I've earned. I don't think a single one of my friends was positive. They were all negative. I think every single one was like negative 200, negative 100. Not a whole lot. But it would be like, you've earned $10,000, but you've spent $10,200. And it's like, so this doesn't seem worth it. So I don't know. I think sports betting is just as dumb as the slots.
Decks, bro.
Also, I'm just going to throw it out here. Sports betting, because it's all sports people who bet, those are the most emotionally driven people in the world. These people who do sports betting throw all logic out the window. Rob, I can't tell you how many times, has bet that the Minnesota Vikings will win the Super Bowl. And I'm like, why? And he's like, because they're the best team in the league. I don't even watch football, and I know that is bullshit. And he'll be like, nope, I bet. Luckily, in that case, he bets against me. He doesn't even bet on the apps. He bets me $50 that the Minnesota Vikings will make it to the Super Bowl. And I take that bet every single fucking year. And every year, they never make it to the Super Bowl, and I make $50. So you know what, chat? I take it all back. Sports betting is great. Make sure to bet against your friends, though. Don't bet against the apps. And make sure to make stupid bets like that. And I make the same bet with Drew about Toronto Maple Leafs making it to the Stanley Cup. Except for he always bets me like $100. I make $150 a year from my two friends being delusional about their two favorite sports teams. It's free money. I proudly invested £2 into VarsityGaming Company Limited. Whoa. Let it be known that sending me money does not mean you've invested. You are not getting a share of a stock in Varsity Gaming Company Limited by sending me money. You are just sending me money. I am not giving out stock options yet. I've won $20 more than I've spent on UFC parlays. I will say, if you find sports gambling fun, and you're able to limit yourself, and you're only like, oh, I'm up $20, I'm down $20 or whatever, fucking do it. Who cares? But the people who think that they're actually like farming money off of it, it's dumb as hell. How long do you think until it'll be fixed? So, to very briefly summarize what we talked about earlier, I think we'll be very lucky if the servers are back online tomorrow. I shouldn't say very lucky. I predict they'll be back tomorrow. I think we'll be incredibly lucky if they're on tonight. Do you think this is a ransom attack? No. I think the reason why I'm saying tomorrow is because Ubisoft is going to want to do two things. They're going to, one, find out how this happened and try to patch it. Two, if they can't patch it, try to get the game online without allowing the compromise to happen again. So they'll probably take down the component of whatever they use to hack in, whether it's like, an API or something on the server. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to understand this stuff. But they'll probably try to remove that for now, which might mean, there won't be a ban ticker, which there already shouldn't be. I don't know. But and then there also probably won't be like, you can't buy credits, you can't do whatever. They'll probably like take that stuff down for now and then have the game online at least so people can play. Because the most important thing is getting people to play. If the game's down for like a week because they're trying to fix everything all at once, no one's going to come back to Siege. Gotcha, Dev. But they had access to it, but just wasn't working or wasn't online. Yeah. I guess we should still change the UbiConnect passwords just in case. If that gives you ease of mind, you can, but again, it shouldn't change anything. Also, I know we have bigger fish to fry, and everyone's more focused on what's happening right now with Siege, but just in case, because people might ask about it. I'm obviously not going to be giving away the Delta Pack codes that I have left over today, because since the servers are down, you can't even redeem them, so Not giving them the rest of them away until everything's fixed. No rollbacks possible due to marketplace. You cannot roll back buy order / sell order because the new price is going to be different. Keep spending money on cosmetics. I love when people in YouTube chat or in Twitch chat, it goes for both chats, claim stuff that they have absolutely no knowledge over.
Dex, bro.
100% Ubisoft can roll back everything. Because all they're going to do is just roll back the credits to your account, the skin to whoever's account should own it, and then either delete the listings or people can take down their listing and relist it for a normal price again. That is 100% easily possible. Also, I missed a posture check. Also, thanks for sub Knucklehead and Rain and Poop. What to do all weekend. Annie told me to play chess on stream, but I'd rather talk with chat for a bit now, and then tomorrow we'll figure it out. Maybe tomorrow I'll do hacker replay followed by whatever else if the servers still aren't up. It says you hit 800k followers? Probably. And he's been really hyped about that. I didn't even realize what my follower count was on Twitch. Yeah, it says 800k. There's a clip on TikTok starting to get traction with good GG's UB. Might just be some cloud chaser, but has some software stuff open. Don't think it has much validity. I mean, yeah, people will always post whatever. At the end of the day, they'll also always think, we got them. Like, we've gotten Ubisoft. Like, there's no way they fix this, but, like, they'll fix it. The multi-billion-dollar game, they're not going to just let it die. I want to get a nice glass chess table. Just wait until we rearrange the house because we got 7 cats. Don't trust them around it. That's fair. I kind of feel the same. There was our old sponsor Wormwood. They make chessboards that I really want, but the only thing is they don't make what's it called? Chess pieces with it. It's just the board. I'm like, I really want the board, but I also would need really nice wooden chess pieces to go with it. Well, it's a timeout Zayoni in chat because I thought he was spamming something. Then I realized that's literally my own notes. You realize that Wormwood is gone. We signed with them for 3 months, and then they were like, a lot of companies nowadays, they'll do like, we'll do like a 3-month, 1-month sponsorship, and then we'll stop and evaluate and then see if we want to re-sign with you. That's pretty standard now. So I'm not sure if they'll want to re-sign. I think if they do re-sign with us, it'll be when their computer desk is fully available and they can like fulfill a lot of orders. But until then, they'll probably just be like, we'll just wait and see. It's pretty common now. I did love Wormwood though. We still use their table all the time. We have D&D on Monday as well, which will be exciting. Get to use the table again. Skittles is dissing you? Probably. Skittles, a lot of people don't realize that Skittles and I are friends. And that we just talk shit about each other. He talks more shit about me, but we talk shit about each other for no reason. Because people don't understand it. My prediction of when the game will be back up. I think we'll be very lucky if it goes back up today. I think it's more likely it'll go back up tomorrow. And then I think stuff will still be down, and I think it'll take like 2 weeks for everything to be back to normal. Probably not a bad idea, Josh. Skittles is watching my stream. Oh, my video. Is it the video I posted today? I put like a 2-minute intro to that video last second this morning. Like I literally woke up, I was like, I need to make a video on this quickly. So I just added it to today's video, and I think a lot of people are gonna be like, what the hell? The rest of the video's not even about this. He is watching my video. When's Skittles just gonna become a React YouTuber? I'm waiting for that day. So someone said the subreddit has a whole post about something happening. I bought like 20 black ices, the Valkyrie Paragon, and 150 alpha packs. Am I cooked? You'll probably catch a small ban. My guess would be like a temp ban, but we have no idea. I don't really see a whole lot. It's just a lot of speculation on the subreddit as per usual. Yeah, I just see a lot of posts being like, I'm going to spend all the credits. I don't fucking care. I don't really see much else. Is Arc Raiders worth it? I really enjoyed Arc Raiders for like a week, and I have not played it in like 3 weeks now. It was fun, but it's just not intense enough. Look at your current account name. It's funny. Going full screen just in case. Oh. It's not that funny. It's just everyone has a giant string of letters like this as their Ubisoft ID. It's a hexadecimal code. So just a bunch of strings of numbers and letters to identify you, and that's just all it is. Pretty standard. When I cooked, I spent 2 Magic the Gathering and pulled a $30 card. I will never understand people who go all in on these like card things. If you want to buy like Magic the Gathering to have fun and enjoy the game, you go for it. But like all these people who are now buying like Pokemon cards and Magic the Gathering cards and buying like massive amounts of packs just to try to make money off of it, I'm like, bro, the odds of this are worse than going to a convenience store and buying a whole stack of scratchers hoping to make it big. Like you're not winning. I thought you were going to play chess. I was, and then I spent an hour and a half talking about the nuances of everything that happened with Siege. And now I'm just sitting here talking to chat. We already went through financials. I called chat poor multiple times. We talked about cryptocurrency on top of that. We talked about my room. What if hackers sell our usernames and passwords on dark web? I already explained that before, but basic summary, they don't have your password. At most, they would have a hash, which is basically a manipulated version of your password. So just imagine, to make it super simple, if you had a password that was 1234, the system would just be like, add 1 to every single character. And then you would have the password as 1234, but the password in the system would be 2345. So they would see 2345 and be like, this is his password. No, it's not. It's a hashed password. It's changed. So they have the end result, but they don't have the original result. So they can't log into your account with the hashed password. They need the original password. Now, that being said, obviously people can reverse engineer it. It'd be very hard, but it would be possible depending on if they have original people's passwords and know that they're the actual password, then they could try to reverse engineer it. And I'm sure AI would probably help with that as well. But I don't think, as far as we're aware, there's not even any proof that they have passwords. As far as we're aware, all they had was just access to the back end where they could push through bans, ban ticker notifications, credits, all that stuff. I don't think there's any proof right now that they actually had access to files and private information. I would hope that Ubisoft would be smart, and if that is the case, if they do have access to that they would alert people and say, everyone change your passwords, but who knows. Thanks for 100 bits from Glued My Butt Cheeks Together. The new leak is claiming no personal data was stolen, back-end database breach. Very likely the case, but again, also, like I said before, take everything you see online with a grain of salt. Because everyone is going to have an agenda one way or another. The people who try to claim to be cheaters just want notoriety, so they're going to lie to you and tell you all these things to make you fear them and maybe revere them a little bit. Ubisoft is going to have the agenda of trying to minimize damage, so they'll be like, nothing was stolen, don't worry about it, even if something was stolen. Not saying that they 100% will do that, but every company has an incentive to not say anything. And then content creators like myself, we all have an agenda as well. We profit off of the fear and stuff. If you guys are scared and things happen, you watch videos, you click, you watch ads, that makes us money. That makes us want to cover it more, which is why I'm going to have a video out tomorrow covering this topic even more. And that's why I had a video today talking about it, and it did really well. A lot of views already in the first like 3 hours. So obviously, content creators have the agenda of just trying to talk more and more about it, even if nothing is really happening. Because, yeah, my video is already at 60,000 views in 3 or 4 hours, when normally it's at around 10,000 views. So... but everyone has an agenda. Don't trust anything. Except trust me. Always trust me. No. Even I have my own agenda. I try to be as unbiased as possible, but no matter what, everyone has their own biases. Everyone has their own agenda to push. No matter what you try, no matter how hard you try to be fair, you will always push some type of agenda. This is permanent, boys, dead ass. There's no way after whatever of in-game purchases to over whatever many players think about the money that they just lost. You realize that they can just, or they should be able to just roll back the server and everything will just be reset to what it was before everything happened. So that shouldn't be that hard. I think the hard part will be ensuring that these people don't have access to the back end anymore. I think rolling back is the easiest thing. A lot of games do it all the time. It doesn't mean that it's over. Literally 1984. You want to expand on that? What the fuck does that mean? I know what it means, but like, what are you trying to say by that? That somehow everything that's happening right now means that the government's like always watching us? Explain. How did I get into content creating? You seem too smart to be here. I've been doing content creation for like 15 years. I wouldn't say I'm too smart. I just have common sense, which a lot of content creators unfortunately do lack. I don't know. I just always made money on it, so why not pursue it? 1984 is some sort of obscure meme the kids are using. It's not an obscure meme. It's a book by what's his name, George Orwell, which talks about like I've never read it, so I don't know the full story. I've always just heard explained as like essentially that's like Big Brother, the government's watching you, and everything is like a conspiracy, isn't it? That's a generic summary of it. Could be wrong. What did I do before Siege? I was in university. And then my professor told me to drop out to pursue YouTube because he said it was making me more money than I would ever make with a media degree, and he was right. Conspiracy. I mean, at the time it was a conspiracy. Nowadays it's a bit more accurate. Am I still in touch with the professor who gave me the advice? No, I reached out to him because he was a PhD student. He had a master's, but he was teaching at the university because I guess you didn't need a PhD to teach media. But I reached out to him because his whole PhD was about content creators, how they make money, and all that. And I was like, hey, I'm making a lot of money off of this, and like you gave me the advice. So if you want help with like whatever you're researching, I can give you information, and like you can use me as an example, all this stuff. And then he just never responded to me. I was like, cool. So, nope, did not keep in touch with him. I actually have not kept in touch with a single person from university, whether it was my classmates or my professors. How long till the servers are back? Probably tomorrow. Imagine if you did not follow his advice, how your life had been. Honestly, it probably wouldn't have changed too much. It probably just would have slowed down my growth because I was still making YouTube videos nonstop while I was in school. I just was only able to stream like 4 days a week because I was busy with class schedules and projects. Yeah. So in terms of like content creation, I probably still would be a content creator. I just probably wouldn't be as big as I am now. The main thing that would have changed is I wouldn't have moved back home. I wouldn't have been like living at home. I would have still been at school, but it would have only been for 1 more year. I dropped out of my last year. So it probably wouldn't have changed much. Again, I just probably wouldn't have grown. I wouldn't have had the time to do Siege School, because Siege School I did, I think, in year 1 and 2. And that was when I was in 4th year university. So if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't have grown as much as I did. Yeah. Why not do variety content now? Battlefield 6 since Siege is down. Honestly, I mean, right now I have
I just love decks, bro.
more viewers just sitting here talking about Siege and the situation than I would on anything else. I might as well just chat about this with you guys. And then I think probably in like 10 minutes or so end stream, I'll go edit the video that I recorded of me talking about everything, upload that for tomorrow. And then tomorrow will be a much more structured stream where I'll probably do Hacker Replay followed by Variety if Siege is still down. Variety might include chess, might include other games like Battlefield. I don't know. I have zero schedule for tomorrow. I thought I would just play Siege, but you know how it be. Thank you for the 6-7 months, Becca. 6-7. Big brain chess. Bro, I was so pissed. I made it to 600 elo finally in 5-minute chess. Like, I've actually been climbing a lot. I was down in like 300 for a while. I started like learning more about chess, learning some openings. I know like the London system. I'm getting better at reacting and understanding what's happening. And then I've just been on a lose streak the last like 10 games I played. And I'm back down to like 500 elo. I'm sad. Peak stream. I do want to play Peak again. Me and Priest were talking about that yesterday. Are the hackers still attacking, or is it taking a while to fix? Ubisoft shut down all the servers and is just leaving everything offline until they fix it. Have I seen the TikToks? No. I'm not going to watch TikToks on this where people are just going to make shit up and pretend that they know what they're talking about. I did get a funny DM from Josh, though, where he's like, someone in chat has been hating on me for the last hour, and then he sent me a screenshot, or he sent me their link to their Twitch account, and their profile photo is, or what is this? I don't even know. What am I looking at, Josh? Oh, it's not in chat, it's just the streamer? Oh, yikes. I don't even know what I'm looking at. I want to know what that profile photo is. It looks like he's hugging a porn star. Do I think this will perma-hurt the player base? I mean, people are obviously going to be salty about it. I think this is going to be one of those situations where Ubisoft will really need to actually, you know, pull out their wallet and give us something good for compensation. Because if they come back and they say, we're going to give you guys 1 alpha pack for the inconvenience, like, it's going to be a disaster. I bought all the esports stuff. Do they still get the 20% profit? So, Galactic, you bought all of that using money you didn't actually have. So you technically bought it with $0. You know what 20% of $0 is? I'll give you a hint. It's the same thing. So I can't tell if my YouTube stream... Actually, I think it's just bugged. It just randomly dropped from 600 viewers down to... Oh, yeah, it's back up. It went from 600 to 50 viewers, and I was like, oh, channel died. What does Mr. Braddock think about all this? I can actually tell you what Mr. Braddock thinks about all this. He sent a message in the group chat. I will leak DMs. He said, I'm glad I'm still visiting family eating good food instead of dealing with that mess. LMAO. There you have it. Why are there no free MVP win animations? You cannot get those in Battle Pass or packs. Ubisoft has just been really bad at, like, they're always like, if you get an elite skin, you get all that. Just like, yeah, let us do individual things. Let us buy individual skins for the, what's it called, gadgets and stuff. But they just don't let us. Thanks for 100 bits from Kernigan Fumbles. Why can't people run around drip down and casual though? So how will they know what to give back to us after taking all my skins, especially if the hackers deleted that info? What makes you think they deleted that info? Every company has backups. They have local backups and usually online backups. They'll have different servers for each, one local and like usually in-house, and then one offshore wherever. And then they just revert to a backup. And I would imagine, I don't know this for sure, I would imagine that any system that they would have in place to prevent people from deleting backups would be very complex and secure enough that someone hacking into it wouldn't just be able to delete all the backups. I don't think that's how it would work. Or I don't think like people would they would just let anyone delete it. People are acting like Ubisoft is running some shack in Indonesia. I think it's because there's so many people posting about this, claiming different things, that people are just assuming that Ubisoft has no idea what's happening and that it's over. And like, there's all these people who are claiming they're like, I did this and Ubisoft is dead now. Like, I just killed Siege. It's like, no, it's just fear mongering and people don't understand. And like, no offense to you guys in chat, but like, I won't call you guys dumb, but like there are a lot of people who are really dumb and don't even understand the basics of how like servers or online infrastructure works. So they assume servers are down, that means the game is dead and it's never coming back. Like, no, it's way more complex than that. It is way deeper than that, and people just don't learn about it. I try calling devs on my bat phone. I should try that. Thank you again for the 100 bits, Kernigan. Yeah, if they're a smart company, which I would hope Ubisoft is, they should have daily backups, probably twice a day backups or something. People don't even check info for themselves; they just listen. Yeah, I mean, that's why I said earlier. It was like people need to actually pay attention and like
Dex,
analyze stuff. You shouldn't just trust everything you see online. Also, thank you for the membership on YouTube, Sam Jones. I did activate that. I need to find a way to put alerts on my screen for YouTube stuff. Check out the subreddit. I have been checking it out, but I don't really see a whole lot there. People kept saying there's leaked information there, and I looked at the top few stuff and I can't see anything. This is pretty funny. Sorry for the light mode. It's fucking blinding, but they're like the 4 main reactions today regarding the credits. They can't ban us all. Am I going to get banned? I don't care if I get banned. Let's sue Ubisoft. That is 90% of the people right now. Let's sue Ubisoft is my go. When will it be playable? Just to reiterate, I've said this a bunch, so I'm sorry for the people who keep hearing me say it over and over and over again. Very likely it'll probably be tomorrow. I'm reading through a post that claims to have access to the people who cheat or to who hacked this and are spreading information about it. Also, I don't see this. I don't know how much I believe this because I'm not going to show it on stream because I don't think much of this is legitimate, but who knows? It claims that like 3 different employees internally helped leak everything or helped give access to everything. But I can't tell if they're trying to say that they allowed them to have access or if that's who they hacked into to get access. If it's who they hacked into, then that just means they did social engineering to hack into a remote employee's computer and then accessed everything. Or they're saying that somehow 4 or 3 different employees all gave them access, which I doubt that. Also, what the comments say on this post is true, where they're like, why would they snitch on their plug? It's like they wouldn't. So it just seems like it's bullshit, but who knows? They also are claiming that, I don't know, the way they're describing a lot of things, again, I don't want to show it on the screen, but the way they're describing a lot of things makes it sound like, I don't know, it sounds like they don't know what they're talking about. Because they said they were, in the post that I just read through, they were like, we're erasing our steps so that they don't know how we did it. But then they literally laid out all of the information on how they did it, which just sounds like if you're a criminal and you're like, we're removing our fingerprints from the scene so that no one knows it was us, and then you are like, well, we'll leave one fingerprint so you know who it was. It's like that's counterintuitive. That doesn't make any sense. So I don't know. I don't know how much I believe that. Thanks for sub the boss, Darren, and C7A. Thank you. I hope Siege will be sold to a bigger company soon for it to truly shine again. I don't think that would change anything. Oh, Skittles is playing? Are the servers back up? I don't see anything posted about it being online. Can't tell if Skittles is playing or if he's just watching a video, but I mean, the downside is I have to go somewhat soon. I can't, even if the game is online, I can't play that long. Because I was going to end stream at 5 because I have to leave for a party at 6. But since I now have to edit everything I did into a video for tomorrow, I will have to end by 4 so I can edit that all and then post it. Oh, Skittles was watching a video. I just have the Twitch category open here, and I'm just like keeping tabs on what everyone else sees to see if anything pops up. And I saw for a bit it popped up saying that, or it looked like he was in a game. Skittles is saying we need to unlink everything from UB, need to change our passwords. What's your opinion? I mean, Skittles did go to school for some type of internet secure, or I don't even know what it was, some type of security thing, or internet technology. I don't know, information technology, some bullshit. So he should probably know a bit more than me. But that being said, I'm not trying to actually no, I am trying to diss Skittles when I say this. Skittles is fucking dumb. All right, I love him. He's one of my friends, but he dumb as hell. Okay. Because I was in his stream a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and he said that he was complaining to me because he's like, I'm playing on this account and I'm only playing against champs, even though it's a peak gold. This makes no sense. And I was like, bro, I looked at the account it was a peak gold with like 10 games, and it was gaining 130 elo per win. So it's definitely not a gold account. I was like, it's a champ account. And he's like, oh, I didn't know that's how it worked. So I'm like, if he doesn't know how that works, I don't know if I trust him to know about how all this works. No, that's my take. Yeah, I'll probably end stream. We'll make it to the 3-hour mark, and then I'll end stream. Because yeah, I don't think this is gonna be back online today. Is all account information going to be leaked? As far as we're aware, no. As far as we're aware, no information has actually been compromised. It was just a back end. Again, it's like they found the back door to a club, not that they figured out, not that they got a copy of the key. They just found a back door. Is it risky to log on to Siege right now? If it was, I wouldn't be logged in right now. Also, why are there like 15 different accounts all saying, look at the Rainbow Six subreddit? Bro, we've looked at it. I already said I don't know how much I believe of any of this stuff. I feel like they're bots. They didn't find a backdoor. The social media manager had tools to get in. So I did see that. Now, again, I'm not a IT professional. I am not a Ubisoft employee. But I know people who work for Ubisoft. I know what they have access to based off of their roles. And as far as I'm to understand, a social media manager would not have access to any of the stuff that got compromised. Because that wouldn't make any sense. Because again, while I don't work for them, I know people who work for them. And a social media manager at most would have access to the social media accounts. And that's it. Because like I remember talking to one of the social media managers about something, and I made a joke about like, oh yeah, just give me Glacier on my account. And they were like, we have zero access to any tools. Like we only have access to the social media accounts. I was like, I know, I'm not actually being serious, but they don't have access to that type of stuff. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if the people who did this and are claiming, oh, it was the social media manager who gave us or whatever, is just trying to plant fake evidence to make people think that it's one thing when it's not. Because they could be like, oh yeah, it was the social media manager. Thanks, guys. And then Ubisoft's like, what? Our social media manager, blah, blah, blah. And then they try to get them in trouble, but it's like, they could be putting out false flags just to waste time. So... what has EB said so far? That they're aware of the incident and they're currently investigating it, and they've shut down the servers until they can figure it out. You think they're going to tell us what really happened? No. They will give us a very rudimentary explanation saying an exploit was compromised, we have closed the exploit, and everything has been rolled back to whatever date and time. That is very likely all we'll see. Playing devil's advocate, they could have gained access to his account, then remote into Ubi and escalated privileges. The only reason I would say that's not true, and again, this is coming from my armchair developer knowledge, no real explanation or knowledge about it. If they could just log in or like improve someone's privileges through Ubi, they could just make a new account with admin privileges and do anything they wanted. Because if they can already have an admin account that can say like, hey, social media manager, you now have admin privileges, they could just do that without using someone's account. You know? But again, maybe that is how it works behind the scenes, and maybe they did take advantage of a really stupid system setup. I don't know. Privilege escalation is the main way. Highly doubt they brute force their way in. There's fail safes for that. Yeah, they did not, like I mentioned it earlier when we had the whiteboard out, is very likely social engineering to multiple levels. I still don't think it was escalation of privileges though, because again, if they could make a social media manager's account have admin level privileges, why wouldn't they just make a new account? Because like Ubisoft has 10,000 employees, bro. They could just easily make an account. People probably wouldn't notice it. Because like, I mean, again, I don't know. I don't know how the systems work. I don't know how the servers work, but generally, I feel like if you can modify someone's like privilege status, you can just make another account. Those are usually not too far apart. Because when I worked at the school, I know it was like a small thing with like a small IT department. Making a new account and changing privileges on an account were literally right next to each other. I can't remember. Was it AD? Something directory? I don't know. It was like literally make a new account or change privileges of an account right next to each other. I'm not gonna lie, Sam. 90% chance that they're Skittles viewers. Not even trying to roast them this time, but anytime I've been in Skittles chat, I'm like, there's always someone who just spams nonstop. I'm like, bro, how do you put up with this? Oh yeah, Azure Directory. Or no, not Azure. Oh, someone else chat. Active Directory, yes. God, I fucking hated Active Directory. There'd always be some problem, and I was just like a low-level IT person that they'd be like, I don't have access to this. I'd look, I'm like, I have no fucking clue what I'm looking at, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Why don't they just roll back the server before they got hacked? That's what they're doing. It is just not as easy as snapping your fingers. If it was that easy, they would have done it. Aren't the employees on vacay? Who's going to fix this shit? There's always people who will be on hand ready to fix stuff like this, like on-call employees. All my friends who work in tech, they're always on call. Like my one friend, he works for Stripe, and anytime we hang out, he brings his backpack with his laptop. I'm like, oh, like, what's that for? He's like, I'm on call. From like his when he finishes work at like 5 p.m. until 9 a.m. the next morning, he's technically on call. Like I think like basically 24/7. And I've asked him about it. He's like, I very rarely have to go back in, but like sometimes something will happen and they'll be like, we need you to remote in right now and fix something. Happens. Yeah. I don't know how it would work with Siege and UB as a whole, but they definitely have on-call employees, and I'm sure they'd be like, we need you to come back no matter what. Like the game is about to die if you don't fix this. And obviously, they'll just be like, all right, I'll just want my time reimbursed or, you know, triple time, double time, whatever, and they'll just make their money. There's also a lot of people don't realize this. At a lot of these companies, there are always people who are just like, I will fucking work anytime. Like, I don't care that it's vacation. They'll be like, I'll work right now. You tell me when, and they'll easily take that double time. Thanks for 2 months. I see Quebecois. I don't know how to say the rest of it. Maybe an angry dev doing this because of the recent sale? No. What's the reason why Ubisoft won't allow console players to change servers? That's probably to combat ELO trapping. Because the amount of people who would remote in or like change the server to Japan and then ELO trap was insane. No ETA when servers are going to be back. Probably will be back tomorrow. As far as we're aware. It'll very likely be tomorrow, based off what little information we have and what speculation we've done. That being said, chat, it has been 3 hours. Servers are not coming back online anytime soon. I have to leave in 2.5 hours for my party, and I also have to now go edit I think that was like a 40-minute long video with the whiteboard about this whole situation for tomorrow's video. So I am going to end stream soon, very, very soon. It is important, as I said before, to remember that in times like this, everyone has an agenda and everyone will be lying about everything. No one is going to give you the full truth. Okay? Anything you see on TikTok, anything you see on Reddit, Twitter, everyone has an agenda. Everyone's going to lie to you for one reason or another. Okay? So, over the next 24 hours, when we're likely going to be dealing with a lot of shit like this, or with this situation, just don't believe anything until we actually know what happens. And even then, we probably will never know what actually happened. I know people hate to hear this, but Ubisoft is likely going to be the most official and accurate source of information. Obviously, they will not tell us everything because they don't want people to repeat what happened. But I would very much not believe the people who claim to be behind this, because they obviously are going to lie about everything they can. They're going to want to scare you guys. They're going to want to make you think that it's the end of times. They're going to want to make you think that they have Ubisoft on the ropes. They're going to lie about how they got in, what they're doing, why they're doing it. You know, don't trust anyone. Don't even trust me. But still, watch tomorrow's video if you didn't watch it on stream. It's very important. All right. I'm going to head out. This was a fun 3 hours of just shooting the shit with you guys. I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, if the servers are still down tomorrow, I might do a double header of hacker replay. And if not, I'll just do at least one hacker replay, and then we'll do some variety or something. I don't know. But yeah, there's not much else we can do today. Again, don't trust anyone. Don't believe anything you see. Until tomorrow, we'll probably have more information. Maybe. Okay? But thank you guys for watching. And if you missed everything we talked about earlier, it'll all be in a video for tomorrow. So if you want to know what's happening, check out tomorrow's video. And if any of this happens again, don't spend your credits. You might get banned. Okay? We don't know for sure, though. But I'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully, if everything's still working. Okay? Bye.